on.
It does.
Chiefs ran out of power in 30 minutes. So
yeah, I guess
right
so.
back to him.
11:20. You guys can always interact with us on the Jay Southland Tow Service text line, 913-586-7965. Looks like the video stream's been working today, so we'll keep that going. YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and X. That way you don't miss any of the shows here on 96.5 The Fan. Let's start with last night in Lawrence.
Making jokes during the show, but yeah, obviously this is the big story.
The morning show is obviously making a bunch of Darryn Peterson jokes, and I promise we will get into another saga in the Darryn Peterson 2025-2026 season because it was another level. This is still the most fascinating thing I've seen in a long time with a basketball player in college. Yeah. It really is bizarre. But we discussed it yesterday going in. Kansas had never beaten a number one team in the country at Allen Fieldhouse. Bill Self had never lost on a big Monday. Kansas, without Darryn Peterson, because of flu-like symptoms during warm-ups that he decided not to play. We'll get into that again. But Kansas found a way to win against a previously unbeaten team without their best player. 82-78. They were down 3 at halftime. Flory, go on and on. I can't say enough about what he's been able to do.
How much better he's gotten this year.
He had a double-double. He earned himself a lot of money last night, I think, with all the scouts in there and looking ahead to his future eventually one day in the NBA. That was, and I wasn't there. I know Rob was at the game. Cody, you watched it. I watched it. Drew, we all watched the game, and so we could sense it through TV as well. The atmosphere is always insane at the Fieldhouse. Anybody that's been there for decades, and we'll have Brian Haney join us actually next hour, and he can speak on this even more than I can. That was one of the all-time atmospheres last night for a Kansas basketball game. And historical because, as I said, they had never beaten a number one team in the country in that building. And fortunately, they did not storm the court, Cody. I know we joked about it yesterday. Thank goodness they didn't. Thank goodness they didn't do it.
I think that there would have been a greater chance of it happening had it not just happened on the weekend and people made fun of.
I don't know. I just don't think in Lawrence it happens. But yeah, I don't think in Lawrence it happens. But we were wondering if they win that game, what does it say about them?
They're a national title contender.
Absolutely. They're absolutely a national title contender. Arizona's a hell of a basketball team. Arizona's going to be just fine despite losing last night. They're probably disappointed. If that game isn't in Allen Fieldhouse, Kansas doesn't win. Plain and simple.
If that game is played, literally anywhere else on the planet, even if it was in Kansas City, it's not a win for them. Because the biggest story out of that is Allen Fieldhouse does still have a mystique that other buildings simply just don't have. The fact that Bill Self has now played 15 top 10 matchups in Allen Fieldhouse in which he was the team ranked lower, and his team is 15-0 in those games. Not to mention the record you mentioned at Allen Fieldhouse, 40-0 now on Big Monday. There's something about playing at Allen Fieldhouse because I got bummed. The second I learned Darryn Peterson wasn't going to play, I'm like, damn. I was hyped for this game. I was excited for a duel between Kansas and Arizona where I thought Kansas could definitely win this game. I'll be honest, when Peterson was out, I did not think they'd be winning the basketball game.
Well, because you're thinking maybe it's going to get ugly.
Anymore. It's the number one team in the country. And there was that stretch coming out of the second half. I was watching the game. My wife was next to me, and I had said, I feel like this is what I said. I feel like Arizona's getting ready to go on a run and spread this thing out. They've looked like the better team, and Kansas has just been clawing. It felt like Kansas had to hit 15 big shots to stay in it in the first half. And then in the second half, Arizona opened up that 10-point lead. And I'm like, well, it was fun that you didn't have Darryn Peterson, but that's probably it. And instead, their best performance by far. And really, this story, other than the Darryn Peterson stuff, which we'll get to in a minute, the reason why I think Kansas is a national title contender is because, and not because the other guys aren't good, not because Melvin Council isn't good, and he didn't shoot really well last night, but still got 23
points. Played all 40 minutes.
He didn't play all 40
minutes. He's the only guy on Kansas, I think maybe even on the floor. He's only on the floor that played 40.
Didn't have Darryn Peterson. The reason why they're a national title contender is not because they're best players, not because Melvin Council, not because Darryn Peterson. It is because the development of Badunga and Tiller from November 1st until today is astronomical. Those two guys have taken huge steps forward in play.
Yeah, Bryson Tiller, top recruit, no surprise there and all that. Now you're seeing why. And he's gotten more confident in his own game, and he's healthy and all of that. And it's true, it's cliche, but just as a team and attitude-wise and effort-wise, and I think it starts with Melvin Council Jr. just in terms of the willingness to go out there and max effort every single time.
He's a fan favorite pretty quick. Huh?
Oh, it's amazing how quickly he's not going to be the most gifted player by any means, but he is going to be an all-time Jayhawk because of his entire mentality.
him.
Fans love him, student section. He's so popular across campus, and he's going to be here for like 5 months, 6 months, and he's going to go down as an all-time Kansas Jayhawk because of everything around him. And we'll see if the team ends up taking home any hardware or not when the season is over. That'll certainly add to it if that's the case. But yeah, he did not have a great shooting night, as you said, but he still found a way to get to 23, and he made the clutch shots when he needed them late in that game. And this is why last night's why this team has an absolute chance to get to a Final Four and win a national title. I'm not saying they're going to, but they got a real shot because that effort last night without Darryn Peterson, and that's about as good as it gets. And yeah, the building aided the comeback when they were down. The Darryn Peterson part, let's talk about that because we'll get into all this with Brian Haney, the voice of the Jayhawks, around 12:10. So during warmups, he's out there. Suddenly, he's not out there. 15 minutes before tip-off, there's reports that he's got flu-like symptoms. Kansas, I think a spokesperson for Kansas put out a statement to some of the media on site there saying he's out, flu-like symptoms. And any other player, and this is just the reality, I have no issue with people being critical with it. Any other player that did not have the track record that Darryn Peterson has had this year.
Melvin Council was out when he was said.
Nobody would be saying, oh man, okay, like you're sure he's not going to try to fight through it, but okay. Because it's Darryn Peterson and because he's missed half the season for some reasons, related to cramping and otherwise, people are way more skeptical. It's like catnip for conspiracy theorists or whatever out there.
Zoomed in phones.
Yeah. I mean, this whole thing has been fascinating. I cannot remember ever a college player that has had more, unknown around him and availability than Darryn Peterson. Now, I have no problem if anybody wants to say, hey, look, flu-like symptoms. All right, we've all had the flu, right? It sucks. You're playing number 1 Arizona. Unless he had to be on the toilet the entire time, give me an attempt. Give me an attempt to play in the game. And if he goes out there, Cody, and he looks sluggish and looks like hell, then fine. Then you bench him the rest of the game. This isn't like there's not like limited roster spots. This is not like, oh my gosh, well if we put him in,
on the team,
this is not soccer or something where you're like
he doesn't have to be active on game day.
Yeah. So he deserves. I mean, I get the criticism. I've been defending for much of the season, and I still think he wasn't faking it. I think that all that kind of stuff is crazy to me, but flu-like symptoms, I got to see you give an effort to try to play. I got to see you attempt to play something to show me that you at least have the desire. Bill Self, I felt like, kind of hinted at it. He's like, well, we were hoping adrenaline would kick in, and it didn't. To me, that's as much of a shot as you'll hear during this entire thing towards the player.
Look, he's been very protective of Peterson, including even last night. And obviously, it was not helped by the one employee at ESPN typing up, oh, Bill thought he was going to go, and he said, screw it, I'm out. And who knows? That could have been the worst game of telephone that's ever existed. Kansas obviously came out and said that there was no truth to that reporting.
Who knows?
And that we have to just take as, is it possible that he just said, no, I don't want to play? If Bill said you're not giving me 100%, yeah. It looks bad because when we think about the most highly competitive athletes on the planet, we think about guys like Mahomes, right? Who will play through anything, do anything to be on the field. He'll have his ankle monitored by one chief staffer every second of every day for 4 straight days to get on the court. Number 1, Arizona, in your building, feels like the do everything to get your ass on the court moment. So, could he play through it? Maybe not. But the fact that he didn't even try, I'm sorry.
Disappointing.
There's no way that's not going to look bad. I'm sorry. There's just no way. I can't sugarcoat that in some way. It's a bad look no matter how you look at it.
It looks bad. I still don't think it impacts his draft stock at all in terms of that.
No,
I think from the optics, totally with you. Yeah, I think the optics are really bad on this one. I'm not saying he didn't have the flu. I probably believe he does have the flu. It sounds like Bill Self after the game that yesterday they thought he had a 50-50 chance of playing. It's just that in that scenario, you don't want to be out there. That was bizarre.
There was a moment he went through warm up, and I don't know if you guys saw the clip or not, but he walked up to an assistant coach. And he was pointing to his face, like I'm not able to, I can barely breathe right now. I was a little bit surprised that from the sense of adrenaline kicks in, and maybe you're able to push through it a little bit more than you think, and all of a sudden, hey, it might not be A+ Darryn Peterson, but it's B-, and it's enough to at least be able to play. But yeah, in that moment, it seems like he was like, I can't breathe, and I'm not able to go.
Look, I get Allen helped him with the win, but the idea that they got that win without Peterson.
Oh, it's great news for them. It's very impressive.
It speaks to the depth and the impressiveness of the win. But yeah, he's getting hard to defend every day.
He is.
Like, how are you supposed to come in here when he's just like, his hamstring hurts or now the flu gets him? I mean, he's not available. It doesn't seem like he's trying to be available. That's, of course, the issue. You and I do agree. I don't think any of this is faked, right? I don't think that it's not that he doesn't have like muscle tightness or cramps or the flu. I think all of those things are real things that are bothering him or do bother him. But it's just like, if you're
not playing through them.
Well, like, here's the problem. You and I last week, we were talking about this and like, how will this impact the tournament? My problem with this game is, number one, Arizona in your building makes me think he won't play through a tournament game. That's my fear. Is if he won't power through for the flu for this one, that if in the Sweet 16 he's not feeling good, that he's not going to play. This game makes me, for the first time, question whether or not his availability in the postseason for the Kansas Jayhawks should be in question.
Yeah, maybe that's fair. I would still say if it's a do or die game, this, like last night, as big of a game as it was, the season wasn't over if they lost. I still think if it's a Sweet 16 and the same thing happens, I get why you would question what he's going to do.
It's as close to do or die as I can get in the regular season, essentially. In the sense that it's the biggest game they'll play all regular season long. Other than
regular
the Big 12
season
championship game.
I would agree with that. It's a fair question. I think we last night to me did not clear it up either way. I guess is all I'm saying. But it's interesting. I mean, I think as much as we've talked and Bill Self's been criticized, whether it's on this station or elsewhere, about NIL and developing players or handling this era, I will say, like last night, Cody. Last night's put that as Exhibit A for those that say, hey, does he still have it? That was a hell of a coaching job from Bill Self last night. Oh, the double fist pump and all that.
He wanted it bad. In a bit.
He coached his ass off to get that. When all of a sudden you find out your best player's not available, 15 minutes before, even if you maybe knew there was a chance earlier. Look, no disrespect to Melvin Council and Bryson Tiller. Bryson Tiller's a top recruit, but I'm sorry, he has had to coach these guys up and get them to buy in as a team. They're also just an extremely likable team, which is worlds different than what we were saying a year ago.
Last year's team was one of the least likable Kansas Jayhawk teams ever. And here's the problem. They're not the most likable Jayhawks team ever because the Peterson thing is like tossed a wrench into it. From the Bill Self end, I think it's very similar to the Andy Reid conversation we were just having. I don't think it was unfair to start wondering if the game and the way the game was being played had started to get past him a little bit. That there were problems coming from it where, like, okay, look, in the NIL era, you did win a championship, but it was like year one of the NIL era, and now we're fully in it, and the game has changed a lot in the last couple of years, and you're getting some guys like Darryn Peterson, but it's not all coming together, and can you build a team? Like, his team is all freshmen. Yeah. It's all freshmen. It's just Darryn Peterson and Tiller and not Council's but like
experienced, yeah.
But they are relying on a lot of young players.
I mean, Arizona had way more freshmen than they did, but I get your point.
But they do. But they're relying and Flory's only a second-year player, not 3 or 4 like the ones we're talking about. And so there is this part where, like, there was questions about it. Last night was, I mean, Kansas' best game in years, obviously.
Yeah, it's one of the best coaching jobs Bill Self has had in a while. And I know you're like, well, what, just because he beat number one? No, like, considering the circumstances, the players that he has, and as you said, from November to now where they're at, from December to now, heck, really from that UCF game on, from where they're at now, they've won 8 in a row, I think it is. They're 19-5. They were already number 9 in the country. I know they got a bunch of tough tests still to come. But now that you beat Arizona without Darryn Peterson, I mean, surely they can beat anybody in the country. They can beat anybody in the country. It's not even a question anymore. There is no doubt with that. I push back. I know some people are on the text line. I appreciate the text. Are saying, trying to compare it to like their workplace. And this is where it's like, you can't. Like someone says, I fired a guy years ago for the same reason, not dependable. You put up, like, no offense to what, and I don't know what you do for a living, whoever texted in. Darryn Peterson is potentially the best player at his sport at his level.
If you were the number one salesperson,
you deal with it. Like I get it. Like I'm not saying you're like in your workplace. Hey, if someone's not dependable, you fire him. You're right. But it's just it's not apples to apples. It's just not. Darryn Peterson. We've all seen in the Texas Tech game why you put up with this. Why you're willing to be patient. Why you're willing to quote unquote cover for him if you believe that's what's happening. Because when he's on the court, he can win a national title for you.
Yeah, he's won games for them this year. He didn't win the game for them last night. That was Flory and Melvin Council and everyone else on the court all together who won it, not him. The only game in the Kansas schedule I can't explain. Because if you're like, well, they just have 5 losses. That's a lot more than the other top 10 ranked teams.
Sure.
They lost to UConn, a top 10 team, Duke, a top 10 team. This is before they had figured it out. North Carolina, top 25 team. The only loss I can't explain on their schedule is West Virginia. Yeah. I can't even explain away UCF. As I told you guys
West
yesterday,
Virginia's
I think at UCF, I think UCF is a tournament team and they're salty. At West Virginia, I don't know what the hell happened in that
15-9 West Virginia.
But then since then, they have beaten an Iowa State team who is currently ranked above them in the AP top 25, BYU who's ranked in the top 20, Texas Tech who's ranked in the top 15, and the number 1 undefeated Arizona Wildcats. So I mean, they're on an all-time heater for this season's perspective. No team has gone through a stretch like this out of anybody in college basketball right now, and they got to follow it up on Saturday at Hilton Coliseum against Iowa State. So look, I'm not saying, and I wouldn't predict them. I'm assuming they're an underdog in that game. Maybe not now, I guess, after that win against Arizona. Are they going to be favored, do you think, against Iowa State on Saturday?
Not up in Hilton Coliseum. It's tough.
That's another.
That's the only reason that they would if neutral site obviously. Hilton, I don't know, Cody. That's a good question. I'm not sure. Also, once again, the Darryn Peterson question, because Kansas was a 1.5 point underdog, 3-point underdog at one point, and then once the Darryn Peterson news started to trickle out during warmups, all of a sudden Kansas at one point got as high as a 5.5 point dog, and I think it closed as KU as a 4.5 point underdog last night. So there was major line movement 10 minutes before tip off because of the Darryn Peterson absence.
Yeah. Boy, you could have gotten Kansas to put
5.5 at one point.
5.5. You could have been living on the right side of it. Here's the thing, and this is just a lesson for you and I were talking about it before the Darryn Peterson news, and we're like, points at Allen Fieldhouse. It's like getting the Chiefs to be giving up points at home. You just don't get that very often, you know? So it just feels like you're supposed to take advantage of it because how often do you get it, right? How often are they giving you points and they're facing an Allen Fieldhouse, even if it is against the number 1 ranked team? The Peterson stuff, as a Kansas fan, here's the thing. Before yesterday, I had said, just deal with it. Guy has some cramps sometimes, but he's one of the best players in the country, and he's shown you why time in, time out. Last night's just like a different one because it just feels like something, and again, we don't know. Gold, it is really hard. Like, if you have the flu, I'm not saying that's always something you can, like, battle through.
There's different levels. Like, yeah, I mean, true. Like, did he have to be in the bathroom the whole night, or was it just, hey, I'm achy and I don't feel right? If it was just achy and stuff, like, that's one of those I would like to see you try to gut it out.
He had congestion, like that's what it was. Like he had body aches and was congested.
But if he's short of breath and he feels like he can't give give me 20 minutes. You know, I'll keep you on and off the court. We'll get you under 16.
I think that's the sentiment that people have. Yeah.
We'll get you off the court if it's just you don't feel like you can breathe.
He went through the first warm up with the team, so he was not on. He was not. If it was like food poisoning, fine.
Right.
I think we understand. You're not able to warm up.
I will say if you were on social media last night, you did see Cody referenced this a couple minutes ago, but there was some staffer, not a KU staffer, that had their phone.
Right?
I don't know. Did they confirm if it was or not?
I think it's just what some of the reporting was saying. I'm not sure if that's
the person who walked up to the individual.
Well, no. So there was somebody on their phone texting, and somebody behind from the stands zoomed in their phone, recorded it, sent out a tweet with what was in the text, okay? And that caused
from the Barstool, Arizona account.
And it caused a firestorm, of course, so much that KU even commented on it. And I don't know if it's true or not. That's not even what I'm getting at right here. I will say this, and I don't know if you guys agree. Maybe you think I'm being crazy. I think it is such loser behavior. Take KU out of this for a second, please. This is not why I'm defending it or not defending it. If you're at any public setting, if Cody's in front of me or anybody, and I see you on your phone, and I zoom in my phone to see what you're texting, and I record it, and I tweet it out, you're a loser. What the hell are you doing?
You don't think you should be recording other? What if they're cheating? Should I feel bad if I
cheating on their phone? You don't know,
like,
you don't know they're cheating.
What if he said, "My wife is gone. I'll see you in the hotel"?
Yeah, see, this is different than the Coldplay thing. The Coldplay thing.
Oh, that's way different.
You're standing there at a concert, and they show you on the jumbotron. It is what it is. I'm on my phone. Someone's behind me, zooms in on my phone, records it, and tweets out when I'm texting. That's loser behavior.
It's a messed up invasion of privacy. I was just asking if you had like a moral thing that would, change your mind on it, If the guy in front of you is tweeting his wife or tweeting,
it's not like you're going to stop a terrorist attack someone's texting about. You're like,
or you're just going to break up a marriage, which might be broken up anyway.
I think it's extremely
the
wrong.
concept of it obviously isn't right as it pertains to outside of that, as it pertains to the real conversation. Like if that actually is a true thing, then that was supposed to be private. Then it is. Then I know it's not. It wasn't supposed to be out there. But if it is out there and it was a real thing that Darryn Peterson said, "Screw it, I'm not playing." Then I think
It would be bad if it came out as that was true. We'll never, ever,
I also will tell you.
But
Now, this was just some random fan. I'll tell you, like you're asking, like it's good, it's out there. I'm just telling you, no member of the media would have zoomed in on somebody's phone and tweeted it out the video.
No, I understand that, and I agree. But if that person was hanging around during warmups, because there's people in the stands before as they're warming up.
Yeah.
If they're close enough to the court and they hear the conversation, then
hearing a conversation.
No, I understand
is
that, and obviously, again, it wasn't supposed to get out. But the fact, and that's it.
I guess the guy was just
all of the things that you said.
speculating
It is an invasion of privacy. But if he heard Darryn Peterson say that, even if it wasn't supposed to get out, it is now. And if that actually is a thing, we have to take it for what it is.
Well, we can't take it for what it is. It's just a random text. We don't know.
In that case, we just have to assume. Look, he sent out a text that said, "So he's sick and didn't tell anyone in practice." And Bill said, "Don't half-ass it if you're going to play. If not, sit." And Darryn Peterson said, "F it, I'm out." That's what the text said. Now, again, Drew, like it is probably more likely than not that he didn't hear that direct. And that best case scenario is somebody told somebody else that told him that maybe that was the case. Best case is probably, I'll just be honest with you, Drew, it would not be out of question. If I was sitting at Gold, I'm sitting half court, I got great tickets to the Kansas game, I find out Darryn Peterson not play. It would not be crazy for me to send you a text and be like, man, he might have just told Bill, if I'm not healthy, I'm not playing. I might fight. I might send something like that with no knowledge of the actual situation, just firing off a text to a friend, speculating on why Darryn Peterson might not be playing. But the problem is because he's not associated with the university, you can't take any of it true. Yes, Drew, I understand you're saying if there's any possibility of being true, it would be bad. Agreed. But we have no way, and we'll have no way of ever knowing whether or not.
I'm not even saying if it's a possibility. If we find out, because there was,
we're not going to find.
There is video that a Big 12 official walked up to the individual before the game started.
Oh, I saw.
And talked to.
The fact to let him know he just went viral on Twitter.
I understand, but I think we all assume things, and I get it that it's wrong to assume at times, but the fact that Kansas responded in the way you can just let that thing die, and it doesn't. You don't even have to acknowledge it. The fact that they acknowledged it as quickly as they did makes it seem like that might have been an actual thing that happened. And I know you can't assume that, but the fact you just don't say anything
to defend your player. I
disagree because this particular player has already had so much speculation around him. You're right. We don't know what is true or not. But when a player has this much speculation around him and then a video gets tweeted out like that, I actually think it is totally fine for any university to respond the way they did.
Yeah, I think when they're not associated, if they were a team employee, you shut your mouth and you hope that nobody talks about it ever again. If they don't work for you, you can just say, that guy doesn't work for us. He doesn't know anything. And then just move on. It's not like they addressed it a million other times after that. They haven't been sending out constant press releases. They just said, he doesn't work for us. He's speculating. I think it's fine.
Trash of the day.
All right, we go to Illinois. Cody, you have daycare for your kids, or you did at one point in time?
At one point in time, I don't.
Not anymore. Obviously, your kids are a little bit older now. Yep. Okay, so this has to do with the daycare and toddlers. So a 23-year-old daycare worker, it's a very young daycare worker, in St. Charles, Illinois, has been charged with giving laxatives to the toddlers because she wanted them to leave. So she was hoping they would get sent home. So she wanted the kids to get sick so they'd be sent home because she was overwhelmed. The children were 2 years or younger. One parent said her 17-month-old suffered from diarrhea for 2 months before they learned what was happening.
2 months? So they just constantly did it?
For 2 months. Because she didn't want the kids there.
You got to quit your job. You hate your job that much, maybe quit before you poison children.
That's exactly what happened.
Oh, man. I mean, that's a lawsuit, obviously.
The person's going to prison and
was it a massive daycare or was it just like an in-home one?
I don't know.
It just says daycare worker. So it's probably just like one of those, like, it's
at home kind of thing.
Well, I mean, if they say daycare worker, it kind of makes me feel like maybe it was like in a facility versus like daycare owner or somebody who ran a daycare.
She was charged with 3 counts of attempting aggravated battery causing bodily harm to a victim under 13.
I will say
she surrendered to police. She was arrested, later released from custody.
Never, ever, ever do this. I have a lot of respect for people who teach young children and who work in daycares. Like I went on that field trip last week, and like 35 minutes into it, man, I was tired. It was like 30 minutes, and I'm exhausted. But just don't work with kids. Don't poison them. That's crazy. Man, you imagine how mad you'd be to find out. You'd be like, man, why has my kid been so sick for so long? I'm going to the doctor. I'm giving him medicine. I can't do anything. Only to find out that the daycare worker was giving him laxatives.
She shouldn't even be allowed out on bail, honestly, as far as I'm concerned.
Lock her
up while she's waiting trial. I can't believe she's even allowed out on bail.
That one's messed up.
Yeah, that was the trash of the day.
23 years old, too. It's like, what are you doing? You gonna throw away your whole life for a job? You could just get a different job.
Yep.
23.
Look, with a lot of crimes, Cody, if you just had logic, then you wouldn't have,
true.
the same thing. You can just get a divorce with someone. You don't need to go, you don't need to go kill your spouse. Just get a divorce. That would solve a lot of problems.
So they don't want to pay the money,
Well,
in this case, this lady, I assume, what is it? Daycare workers don't get paid nearly as much as they should. I imagine there's a job that's comparable in pay. You don't have to poison people to get out of your work.
That is the trash of the day. Up next, we'll get to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. I know we talked a ton of Chiefs already earlier with our Chiefs offseason show. Something we didn't get into necessarily was just where the NFL is shifting, and is it time to shift with the league or go in another direction and be ahead of the curve? We'll get to that next.
This is Wyatt Thompson, and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays 10 to 2, right here on your home for K-State Athletics, 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Okay, hopefully for good reasons, though. You're looking to change careers? Yeah. That's jail. That's different. Careers, that could all happen over at Centric in as little as 4 months because they're working and training people in AI, cybersecurity, all these other tech fields with real hands-on training where they work with the professions, work with local employers, and try to figure out what's the best fit for you.
Doesn't matter what your background is. Like zero technology experience. Maybe you work for the Postal Service. Maybe we met somebody the other day. Maybe you're delivering pizzas now. Maybe you work in HVAC. Whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Any field, you just want something new. That's where Centric comes in.
Hit up our guy, Russ Mondry over at Centric. He's worked there for decades, and he's ready to help you, assist you, walk you through that journey, and find out some of the things we found out at the Tech Summit. You want questions, or you have questions, they've got answers in that new career. Go to Centric.com.
In Kansas, truth is told in speed. Wide open, full bore, and no mercy. Season momentum earned 3 and 4 wide. Loud, intense, inches predicting outcomes. Blink and miss.
They bang sideways.
What just happened? Pure speed whipping across the plains.
Hell yeah, boys!
NASCAR weekend at Kansas Speedway, April 18th and 19th. Get your tickets now at kansasspeedway.com.
Redfin is giving away $1 million home in an epic, never-been-done-before scavenger hunt over on the Redfin app. The house is hidden in Redfin and Rocket's big game commercial, so you have to watch it closely. Download or update the Redfin app today. Solve the clues first to win. You've got until tonight at 7 p.m. Central Time to find your new $1 million home. No purchase necessary, 50 USDC, must be age of majority. Visit thegreatamericanhomesearch.com for official rules.
Whether you're commuting to work or heading out for a fast coffee break, getting an auto insurance quote is just a tap away. With AAA, you're always connected, so you can focus on the road ahead. Rest easy knowing AAA's got you covered, no matter where life takes you. AAA, we're always with you. To start your quote, visit AAA.com/insurance. Insurance provided to qualified AAA members by Automobile Club Inter-Insurance Exchange and AAA affiliate insurers. Membership requires a separate payment.
Steve here with Connolly Plumbing Solutions, your neighborhood plumber. February romance once again. Buy one toilet, get one half off. Who needs more jewelry? Nothing is more romantic than a beautiful toilet. Be original with your gift. What could go wrong? You know it's what your person really wants. So call Connolly at 913-768-7676 or visit ConnollyPlumbingSolutions.com to schedule.
Guys, Hy-Vee has us covered this Valentine's Day. No matter how you celebrate, Hy-Vee has everything we need to make Valentine's Day special. I love it because it's a one-stop shop for everything. Flower arrangements. They've got beautiful floral arrangements for everybody. You can pick them up or have them delivered. Hy-Vee also has home-cooked meal options where they'll do everything, and then you will look like the superstar in the kitchen. And so many great gift ideas as well, including chocolate and retail gift cards. Just one stop to make this the sweetest Valentine's Day ever, only at Hy-Vee.
It's Thirsty Thursday at Hy-Vee. Time to stock up the bar and fill up your tank. Earn 50 cents per gallon fuel savings on every $50 purchase of wine, beer, hard seltzer, and spirits. Mix and match all your favorite libations and get a 50-cent fuel saver with every $50 purchase. Stack up the savings, and your next fill-up could be free. Don't miss Thirsty Thursday at your Kansas City, Missouri Hy-Vee. Product and promotion differs by location. Offers valid where legal, available while supplies last.
Men, it's the new year, and for many of us, it's a time of deciding to make positive changes in our lives. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're suffering with erectile dysfunction and are tired of the frustration and embarrassment ED causes, you should call Heartland Men's Health today, because there probably isn't a better resolution you can make than to be done with ED. You see, ED doesn't just affect you, it can also affect your partner, even if they don't talk about it. But here's some great news. If you're like most guys, the treatments at Heartland Men's Health will give you back your sex life, because our protocols have success rates that work in well over 90% of cases. Seriously, you might even find you're performing like you haven't in years. So, make an appointment and get ED out of your life. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. That's heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices, Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Think switching to T-Mobile's a whole complicated thing? Nah, it's easy. You can do it almost anywhere in just 15 minutes.
Even poolside like Drewski, you can switch to T-Mobile and unlock savings that are built to last. With T-Mobile's Better Value Plan, you can save over $1,000 a year versus Verizon and AT&T. Save on streaming, satellite, and more benefits that they leave out.
I get all the VIP perks.
Start saving from day one, and for a limited time, get T-Mobile's Better Value Plan.
I know you love deals.
Plus, switch right now, and we'll even pay off your old phone up to $800. What do you think of all that, Drewski?
Stay chillin', just switch it. It's better over here.
Check the math at T-Mobile.com/better value. Savings versus comparable plans at AT&T and Verizon, plus the cost of optional benefits. Plan features and taxes and fees vary. With 3+ lines of Better Value Plan. 3+ new lines and 2 eligible ports, or 3+ lines and 5+ years on T-Mobile postpaid plan required. Qualifying credit required. Check out in 15 minutes or less per line. Get up to $800 per line via virtual prepaid card. Typically takes 15 days after rebate submission. Qualifying unlocked device credit service ported 90+ days with device and eligible carrier, and timely redemption required. No cash access and card expires in 6 months. Card issued by Sunrise Banks N.A. member FDIC.
Too many tools, too much stress, and way too many bills.
Odoo replaces it all. One connected platform for every part of your business, so you can work faster, smarter, and for less. Odoo, the only software you'll ever need. Try it free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Chiefs coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back.
Hey, it's almost Andy Reid. Who knew a Halloween costume would change my life and lead me to Renner Garage Door? Renner's KC's go-to team for service, repair, and replacement.
RENNER, RENNER.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Chiefs Red Half Hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Thanks for hanging out with us. Video stream is up and running today, which is nice. YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, X. You can subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss any of the shows here on 96.5 The Fan. Coming up at 12:10, we will get back into the Kansas Jayhawks as the voice of the Jayhawks, Brian Haney, will join us on the show. We'll ask him about the atmosphere last night. We'll talk a little Darryn Peterson, the development of Bryson Tiller, and look ahead to the future a little bit and how this Big 12 race could end up. And boy, oh boy, the Big 12 tournament in Kansas City. I know we say, I feel like a lot of years, like, oh, it's going to be great matchups.
This is going to be an all-time
It's going to be just loaded. Even like the early days. Sometimes in the past, you'd have to wait to that Thursday night or Friday session. Now, this is, other than like the Tuesday afternoon.
Thursday's the one.
Oh, man.
Thursday's going to still have all the big boys.
Thursday,
Kansas, Houston,
Arizona, all playing.
Iowa State. Like, down there is going to be nuts. I mean, nuts.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
So
we'll get back into college hoops with Brian Haney next hour. Let's talk some Chiefs, though. I think we briefly touched on this in passing, but let's dive deeper into it because it was evident with both of these teams that were in the Super Bowl and some of the teams that went on runs, they were dominant on the defensive side of the ball. And yeah, it's a bit cliche, but cliches are there for a reason, right? Because usually they're true. Defense wins championships. Well, that was the case this year. That was certainly the case this year. And last year, it was certainly the case against Kansas City with the Eagles' defensive front. That's why they destroyed the Kansas City Chiefs. And so where are you at in the NFL now? Do we believe that you're already too late to join that party? Is that always something you should be part of? Or is there going to shift back here in the next year or two? Because I think the Chiefs, for the first time in their run, they were late to the party on valuing running backs, for example. And their defense wasn't terrible this year. Now, in big moments, third downs, getting after the quarterback, they were not.
Long in particular.
As a whole, they were not a bottom 5 defense or anything like that. Not even close, actually, to that. But do you think...
But they weren't built like the way these defenses are built.
Yeah, they're late to the party on the running backs. Are they late to the party on how they need to be building the defense?
Here's the problem. I think defense has been running this show now in the NFL for about 5 years. And if I'm thinking about how the NFL typically works cyclically, I'm not sure building the kind of defenses Seattle and Philadelphia and Houston currently has, or Denver currently has, the way you run these like 7 deep defensive line. I'm not so sure that that's the way that's going to last. And instead, we're not going to get to the next year of somebody's going to be the first to crack the code on how to take advantage of these 2 high shell defenses that have started running the show 5 years ago. And you should be zigging when everyone is zagging. Part of me thinks, and I'm not saying at pick number 9 in particular, that the Chiefs' better effort is actually building an elite level defense and not worrying about copycatting the defensive end of these things. I understand that that's been what's winning championships. It has been. I'm not even arguing that. But if I'm thinking about what's next, is the defensive going to be the one that continues? Or are we getting ready to go back through that cycle of offenses are going to rule the roost? And I kind of feel like, based on the number of years it's been Gold, we might be closer to that. And you can just still be a good defense like you were last year, but focus on being great on offense instead.
I still think because of your quarterback being Patrick Mahomes, while you don't want to get in this situation where you're not surrounding him with talent and it's time to devote resources on the offensive side of the ball, I think would be the argument for a lot of people. But I still think, do you have to be a top 3 or 4 defense? No, you don't have to be the Seattle Seahawks defensively.
They were the best defense in football.
You don't have to be to that level. But they needed to, because Sam Darnold, while he played good, he's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not Josh Allen. He's not one of the top 3, 4 quarterbacks in football. With Patrick Mahomes, I don't think the requirement is that the Chiefs' defense suddenly is top 5. It definitely wouldn't hurt. But I think if you told me they were 8 to 10 defensively, but the offense was back to what you expect, meaning top 5, top 6, then to me, that gets the job done. I think the key on defense is, though, and everybody debates, would you rather have the super strong secondary or pass rush? I always will take, you tell me that they're vulnerable in the secondary, I will always take getting after the quarterback, because that'll make things easier. And it's just such a game changer when you have the ability to just blow up the backfield because your defensive front is winning every single time.
I just, and I understand that they lost the Super Bowl in the year that they didn't even get to the Super Bowl. And the year that they were an all-time offense, back in 2018, when Patrick Mahomes was whipping it on the field. I mean, it was nuts, man. He was 50 touchdowns, 5,000 yards, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
If you go back through that year, I understand they didn't win it. The defense was all-time bad. I think with Spags, it'll never be all-time bad, which means I think if you sell your soul, the Travis Etienne, Breece Hall, Kelsey back, Evans, draft a wide receiver in the second round. You go all the way in and you try to jump the line and be the first to be great at offense again, and you just pour it on these great defenses. I actually think it's the better path to winning now. I think it's the better path to winning in the future, because I'm going to guess that sometime in the next 12 to 24 months, people are going to figure out that 2 high safety look finally. Has it taken a number of years? Yeah, it always does. But I think they'll probably figure it out here in a minute. Or they'll change the rules, Gold, to help offense, because that's what they do. They'll figure out a way to make it so that you have to operate that way. And some of these offenses are going to struggle a little bit because they're not going to have the tush push. Chiefs don't even use it. Half the league does, though. Josh Allen and the Bills do. The Eagles do. Bunch of teams do.
Yeah, I mean, the Seahawks have a variation.
They just use it with A.J. Barner.
Yeah.
And so all these guys, all these teams have been utilizing this. They're going to have to reinvent themselves in offense. Once you get ahead of it, once you go ahead and worry, I'm worried more about them overall fixing their offense than fixing their defense. Partially that's because of what you said. They were a better defense than they were offense last year, but also because that's what I think I want them to make themselves into going forward. But I'm with you. Defense, inarguably. Look at the Seahawks. I mean, They won the Super Bowl because of their defense. And all the teams in the AFC who got by, they all got where they got because of the defense.
On the text on the office is what let them down last year. Totally agree. You know, we've talked about that. But
no argument there.
But I think still moving forward, I don't think that automatically means, like, we just had our off-season show with everybody in studio for 2 hours, and we all agreed that defensive line should be the number one priority in the offseason.
Chiefs ranked 5th in the NFL in defensive points per game. That's without a pass rush.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're saying, hey, make yourself in the image of the Seattle, I'll be honest, it is a much shorter road to do that. It's way quicker. Like, if you want to make yourself in the image of Seattle, you can get to that faster than you can defensively, than you can offensively get to, like, let's go turn ourselves into the Rams.
Yeah.
Right? Way faster. But I actually want them to focus on the offensive end.
People making the point on the text line about sustainability. We've discussed that. It's why Seattle, they're going to be very good next year again. But the Broncos, same thing. You can do that for 2 years, maybe 3 max.
It runs its course.
Defense is keeping that intact. It's pretty rare. And I'm not saying like runs that the Chiefs went on going to Super Bowls. I'm just saying like where the Broncos or the Seahawks are just one of the top teams in their conference. If they're leaning on defense, that's usually a 2-year cycle.
Yeah.
On defense. Offense, if you have the offense, if you have the quarterback and you got a top wide receiver, that seems to be more sustainable in the NFL.
You can have a 5 or 6 year run. That's another reason why to build it that way. I mean, how long do you think the defenses have been the bigger defense and running have been the bigger catalyst, right? In the 5 years?
Yeah,
I think pretty much once they figured out the Chiefs won that Super Bowl and everybody started running too high.
Yeah, that's been the whole thing when anytime, not to bring up the whole Matt Nagy, Eric Bieniemy thing again. Like my biggest issue with the simplistic nature that sometimes it gets discussed is like, well, look at the stats. The offense was way better with EB and it was way worse with Matt Nagy. And as I've said over and over, I think that's oversimplifying so many factors that were different. You know, you just said it, Cody, one of them. Just how the league plays offenses now, how they play the Chiefs is so different. Now, the Chiefs did not adapt well. That's on Matt Nagy, no doubt. But they also had different personnel. Running backs are more value now than they were 3 years ago. So that's been my whole thing is like when we get into the coordinator discussion and why I get annoyed with it sometimes because we ignore also everything else that happened. And what you were saying, you know, with just where the league was at a couple years ago with defenses and playing them. And for this offseason, the Chiefs have to figure out what is the next thing in the league? And it's a copycat league. Everybody's going to look at what Seattle did. Mike McDonald runs a fairly unique defense. Everybody's going to look at what he did, and people are going to mimic what he did. This happens. People copied off of Andy Reid for many, many years. Andy Reid needs to take a page out of some other guy's book as well and continue to grow and adapt.
Is it, and I'm not saying that the pass rush was bad. I'm not arguing that. I understand that that's why they're looking at pick number 9 at defensive line. Is it weird? So, like, we're doing the Chiefs offseason show earlier. If you missed it, it's all up on the podcast page. But we do the Chiefs offseason show earlier, and everyone's just, like, ready to run Jones out of town. Maybe not this year, but soon, right? And that's fine because I understand that, like, he's getting an older player and you're trying to, like, refresh the defense and all other stuff. We sometimes talk about this defense like they were ass. Just to be clear, this defense doesn't need, like, a total retool. It has no redeemable qualities. They were the 5th best points per game defense this year, and the offense was doing them no favors. Special teams doing it even less.
To the same point, though, we all agree the offense was bad. They also weren't the 28th best offense in football either.
They were before, and I think this is a more than
before Mahomes' injury.
Before Mahomes' injury, they were the 12th points per game offense.
And look,
that's a pretty sizable difference from 5th. But yes, you're right. They were not the worst in the NFL.
I'm not saying it wasn't a mess, but I do. The way we sometimes discuss both units, you would think that they were 25th and 23rd. No, that's like the Jets. That's Cleveland, other than defense. Cleveland on offense. That's Cincinnati on defense. Like that's what all that looks like. Yeah. Kansas City.
That's where the 6 wins makes it even weirder.
Well, for sure. And that gets into the coaching stuff again. In certain situations, and the mistakes and the discipline and all of that. The other thing we did have when we had Bob and Dusty and CDOT and everybody in studio for the offseason show was the running back side of it, too. Because I think you said that Etienne's a name that you really would like.
I think he's a better fit.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm open to Etienne.
And he's cheaper. I think he's projected to be cheaper, so I like both of those things.
It sounded like most people, maybe Bob was the only difference on the draft part of it. I couldn't remember. He can text me if I was wrong. But we all kind of agreed that free agency seems like the best path to address running back. I think Carrington said he wouldn't mind them taking a running back in the second round at pick 40.
Anytime after pick 9.
But if like Tyler Allgeier's projected contract is truly like $2.5 million a year or $2 million a year, I sign Allgeier with Brashard Smith and I draft one at 40 or in the third round. That works for me. The Jeremiah Love thing in the first round, he might end up being a great player. I just think it's not worth the 9th overall selection when you can cost effectively become more explosive in the backfield without having to go spend that premium of a pick.
For a team that needs to get back to running the ball successfully on all downs, not just Kareem Hunt on 3rd and 1. ETN, right? Breece Hall's the better. How about this? Breece Hall's the better back. That's why he's going to cost more money. I'm not arguing that. He's the better overall running back. ETN does a little bit of everything for them. He has 1,300 receiving yards in 4 years. He has almost 4,000 rushing yards in 4 years. He's been a 1,000-yard back 3 of the 4 years he's been in the NFL. Perfect. That's exactly. He's been over 1,400 yards from scrimmage 3 times in 4 years. The only down year was 2 years ago when he was 25. He had an awful year. He only had 558 yards rushing. They had a terrible team and a terrible coach, and everything went south, and they didn't use him. It's not even that he was hurt. He played 15 games. They just didn't use him. And so when you start looking at the free agency, it's the quickest solution to get that. You can still draft somebody in the 3rd. Nobody stops you from having 3 backs. What do I think? ETN is a 4-year solution for him? Hell no. He's like a 2-year. Free agent running backs, 2 years at best. That includes Breece Hall. I don't think Breece Hall is a 5-year solution. Even if they give him a 4-year contract. Do I think he's their solution for 4 years? No. Now, if they take Breece Hall, do I want him to take a running back in the 2nd? Probably not. Maybe make that 4th or later. But the following year, I probably want you to take one in the 2nd or 3rd and preparing yourself for life after this. I wonder if Dusty's right. I don't know if it'll happen or not. He was mentioning that maybe because of the injury, they're just going to feel like they have to run more with Andy. But I just don't think that's in Andy's nature. And here's why. When they stopped doing the QB sneaks with Patrick Mahomes after he'd hurt his knee, they were still at that time running speed options.
Design runs. Yeah.
Designed runs with Patrick Mahomes. Even after they wouldn't QB sneak anymore, they'd still let the man on purpose run, not scramble, not control his own fate. And they eventually phased those out too. I'm not saying they didn't get rid of them. I don't think it's in Andy's nature to run more. And honestly, with Patrick Mahomes, I just want him to be more effective when they do it. I've never asked him to run more. I just want them to be better at it when they do it.
Yeah, the overall split. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes, you should not be running it, as much as everybody in football. You know, to a certain extent, I would argue you should be throwing it more than most
Rams
teams.
ran it a lot more. This year.
But yeah, and they went under. But what did they do, Cody? They went under center. Matthew Stafford had more touchdown passes under center than any other quarterback in football this year.
Yep.
Like it's that element. You want to protect Patrick Mahomes? Go under center. You want to protect Patrick Mahomes? Have an explosive running game to take some pressure off of him. That, to me, is part of the equation. It's not even that they got to run it 5 more times a game than they did this year. You can run it just about the same amount, but if you have the ability to take a 7-yard run and turn it into 15 or a 10-yard run into 25 yards, that was not in their arsenal the recent history because of the backfield. A Breece Hall, an Allgeier, or a top pick in the draft, whatever it might be, that works. That allows you to be more explosive.
I got it more interested in Allgeier today when I looked up his spot track ranking, and they're essentially just saying he's a $2 million back. He's essentially Elijah Mitchell. I'm like, yes, please. Wait, what, for real? That's all? $2 million? Come on down. Like, I'll pair you with another running. I can pay for 2.
Yeah,
that's the only argument
Smith
against,
in a draft.
That's the only thing I can argue against, by the way, Breece Hall is. I think I could pay 2 running backs for the price of 1. I think I could bring in Javonte Williams and Tyler Allgeier for half the cost it's going to cost me just to get Breece Hall. So I get very tempted by the, I can hedge my bet. I can build an entire running back room.
You have to.
I could bring in Etienne and Allgeier together instead of paying Breece Hall. I kind of like and I understand that Brashard Smith's still on the roster, but I like that I can build the whole thing.
I would be about that. You also have to remember, does that player want that role? If Javonte Williams is promised the lead role somewhere else, he may not want the idea that he's splitting time. I don't know what he wants, but I'm just saying, that's the only part that would complicate that. But in general, yeah, I agree with the plan. I think right now, if we were to definitively on February 10th, our exact plan, including costs and everything, I think it would be Allgeier, Smith, and a 3rd-round draft pick for a running back. So then they would have the 3rd-round rookie with Allgeier as the top 2 guys, and then Brashard Smith is the receiving back, spell type of guy, gives you some depth. And then you have another body during training camp on top of it.
We're a month away from free agency, which means we are probably getting dangerously close to starting to see some of those like financial moves you would expect to get yourself under cap before free agency starts. Like free agency's in a month. So the combine's in a couple of weeks. I think you can franchise tag players starting like next Tuesday.
Okay.
So, and we don't even have to have that conversation with the Chiefs because I can't think of a single player they would franchise tag. More, we'll be watching that for, do the Jets franchise tag Breece Hall? Do the Seahawks franchise tag Kenneth Walker? Do the
I guess
Falcons
Kyle Pitts,
franchise tag Kyle Pitts? Although, again, my Kyle Pitts thing was always about if Travis Kelce wasn't around. The same with Mike Evans. I'm more interested in Mike Evans if Travis Kelce doesn't play. I'm less interested in Mike Evans if Travis Kelce does. And I'm not saying he can't help them, but there's only so much age or tight end or all this other stuff I need and the system I need in order to do that. Unless the Chiefs are going to go full 2 tight end sets under center and they're just going to copy the Rams offense from this previous year. Then fine, bring me Pitts and I won't even worry about drafting a wide receiver. We'll just go the way of Worthy and Rice and hope Tyquan Thornton wants a deal back. You know, I did see him at the
he was doing a lot of radio
row and said that he wants, just a place to give him his fair share of targets.
And I will say the only downside
in
with
fairness,
that,
he said that could be here, but
it definitely could be here. But if he left, I would understand because as much as he was involved early and had success, he just disappeared. Like not even his fault necessarily. They just stopped giving him opportunities. Like truly. Once they got Worthy and everybody back and rolling, they just stopped trying to involve him.
I think it was a huge mistake by them, and I imagine one that they would admit now. And something I didn't see until later in the season. It was definitely hindsight. The later we started talking about late in the season, the later they got into the season, and the further and when they started to feel the season slip away, they battened down the hatches in the worst way, in the sense that they stopped playing any young player who was having any problem at all, and we're like, well, we got to win with Mike Edwards. We can't let Jaden Hicks make mistakes. We can't let Brashard Smith make mistakes. And they went even more insular. And they just went with these like players that they knew and had trusted for previous years. And they're like, well, we can't take Drew Tranquil off the field. Like we couldn't dare play Bossa now. It's all slipping away. And we need the veterans to save us from catastrophe. And in retrospect, it was just a huge mistake because the season had already slipped away and they didn't want to admit it yet. And they could have gotten young players more experience and gotten them closer to where they needed to be by the time even this part of the season hit or the beginning of next year. And they were trying to salvage a season in the middle of a lost season. And it's hard in that moment to know that it's lost. But I feel like, in retrospect, I just hated the way that they played the veterans versus young players. And I thought it got worse with the guys like Tyquan when it started to get bad for them in the season.
That's what we were talking about, the disconnect, that has to be cleared up when we had everybody in studio with Bob and Dusty and C-Dot as well earlier today on the Chiefs offseason show, is the disconnect at times seemingly between front office and coaching staff of players they're drafting, players they're willing to play, or you're asking me to play a player I don't really want, or you wanted to draft a different player and we didn't want you to draft that. Like, I understand Andy Reid is running the show. I get it. But there has to be a little bit more during the draft in particular, a better relationship on that. Not saying people don't get along. I'm talking truly of hey, like we disagree on how this resource is allocated. We got you this player. You're not even willing to play him. What's going on? They got to be on the same page far more.
You tell me this guy's no good, or you just don't feel like playing him.
Yeah.
This is the tag stuff and contract stuff is mostly just interesting for the players who you can rule out. Pickens, I don't think they're ever tagging Hendrickson, so I guess I don't think he's coming here anyway. But Phillips, Alec Pierce, Breece Hall, somewhere someone's going to convince themselves, now I don't think Alec Pierce, but they're going to say, well, we don't want that guy to get out of here, so what do we do? The only guy that I guess you could make an argument for the Chiefs is they're never going to franchise tag Jalen Watson, are they? What's a franchise tag for a corner cost?
20. It's a crazy number, isn't it?
Is it a huge number? Maybe because the corners just got that huge jump in pay.
Let's see.
Like 7 straight. J.C. Horn. And all those
projected. This is not a projected 21.4.
That's too high for 1 year.
For Jalen Watson.
You got to sign him to extension. You just can't do it for that price. What is it for running back? Like if the Jags want to tag ETN? Is it market rate?
14.5.
That's
projected.
That feels high too, man. But all those guys and the little before.
I mean, if I'm the Seahawks, I don't give it Walker an extension. I just franchise tag him
and just buy another year
and
for $14 million. Yeah, probably. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't blame you. Based on this is a couple of weeks old, so this is before the season ended. They had the Chiefs with the number 16 free agent, Jalen Watson. The number 25 free agent, Brian Cook. And then, do you think they got anybody else on there? That might be it. They got any other big name free agent that everybody wants? Oh, Leo Chenal is actually ranked 45 in the top 50. Leo, someone will pay him. He's just versatile.
You were just wondering all the franchise tag projections. So wide receiver, the franchise tag for those guys that are out there, maybe an Alec Pierce or whatever, 28.8
They can't.
is a projected.
It's crazy to pay out.
Linebackers, 28. And then doesn't matter for the Chiefs here, but offensive linemen, 27.9. Defensive ends, 27.3. Defensive tackles, 26.3.
I do think it's getting to the point now. The franchise tag feels like it's getting high enough. Ooh, for 1 year hit.
But the cap's you're right. The sticker shock, totally.
It is like crazy.
But if the cap is going to keep going up,
I mean,
pretty soon.
Keep a guard, I got to pay $26 million. Woo.
Pretty soon, though. I mean, it's the same thing with the quarterback contracts. But you're right. I mean, pretty soon we're going to get to where a wide receiver franchise tag is like $33 million.
But I will say, it's why a team like Cincinnati can't franchise tag Trey Hendrickson. You're not going to franchise tag him for $28 million and then try to find a trade partner. You're going to find a trade partner to take on $28 million? They got to be giving him an extension at that point. It's like
I could see them tagging him again.
I don't think so. Is there any rumblings on that?
Yeah. There's been some There's been some thoughts on the potential of him getting tagged
to play him or to trade him. Because I don't know where the partner's coming from if it's $28 million.
I mean, I guess either at this point. But
we're starting hearing that stuff next week. But yeah, I guess that would surprise me. Not out of the question, but
there's been some rumblings around it. I think. Same thing with George Pickens.
Pickens
he's
like
franchise tagged for sure.
Tagged.
Yeah. All right. Up next, guys, we'll get to what's trending. Then we'll get back into Kansas and their big win against number 1 Arizona last night. Previously unbeaten Arizona. The voice of the Jayhawks, Brian Haney, will join us. We'll also have a final all 32 for the season.
Watch Cody and Gold on YouTube by subscribing to the 96.5 YouTube channel. Cody and Gold is brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hi, I'm Lexi, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company, where we're all about you. Your style, your budget, your dream engagement ring. We'll take total care of you. First, come browse all the beautiful settings in our cases. Take your time and try on as many as you want. You'll know when you put your ring on. Your heart will skip a beat. Now, onto your center stone. We can look at different diamond shapes and sizes until we find the perfect match. Come visit us in store, because a friend wants you to get exactly what you want. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
At Kansas City Proton Institute, we're delivering the future of cancer care with state-of-the-art proton therapy right here in KC. If you have breast, head and neck, or brain cancer, proton therapy may be a better treatment than conventional radiation. Don't wait. Get your second opinion at Kansas City Proton Institute. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced proton therapy team. Learn more at kcpi.com. Kansas City Proton Institute, where you see the best in KC.
Doug. There's nowhere I wouldn't go to help someone customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual, even if it means sitting front row at a comedy show.
Hey everyone, check out this guy and his bird. What is this, your first date?
Oh, no. We help people customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual together. We're married. Me to a human, him to a bird.
Yeah, the bird looks out of your league anyways.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Stay warm and worry-free with Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. Get a new furnace absolutely free with the purchase of select HVAC systems. The pros at Hamilton make upgrading easy with flexible financing, expert installation, and energy-efficient options that can help lower your monthly energy bills. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews, plus our exceptional service guarantee, are great reasons to trust Hamilton. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure where to start? Selling a home can feel overwhelming, especially if you're facing foreclosure, a divorce, an inherited property you don't want, or just need to move quickly. But you don't have to figure it out alone. Rex Buys KC is here to help. As a local home buyer, I understand the Kansas City market inside and out. My family and I live right here, so I know the neighborhoods, the trends, and the challenges homeowners face. That's why I take a consultative approach, helping you explore your options and find the best path forward. We buy houses in any condition, no need for repairs, no agent commissions, and no hidden fees. You'll receive a fair cash offer with a closing timeline that works for you. Whether that's in as little as 7 days or at your own pace, just a simple, hassle-free process designed around your needs. If you're ready to talk through your options, call me today at 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Let's find the right solution for you. Rex Buys KC. Local, fair, and focused on you.
Did you know about 1 in 3 people with plaque psoriasis may also develop psoriatic arthritis, which causes joint pain, stiffness, and swelling? Does this sound like you? Listen to what it sounds like to be a million miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy, and for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Imagine being a million miles away. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Visit tremfya.com or call 1-800-526-7736.
What would you say was the biggest factor in getting that win tonight?
I mean, you said it. I think that was it for me. Factor. I was feeling strong. Had plenty in the tank for overtime.
Wait, Factor, like the meals?
Yeah, Factor meals. I've been getting Factor high-protein meals delivered all month. I get all the power I need. They taste great. And they're ready to eat in 2 minutes.
Okay, I need to get on that.
For real. Go to factormeals.com. It's the easiest way to eat like a pro.
Hi, I'm Michael from the War and Treaty. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. Only Novo Nordisk makes FDA-approved Ozempic. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5 milligram, 1 milligram, and 2 milligrams.
Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch all your favorite shows, shorts, and clips. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. What's trending?
Cheddar, mozzarella, Havarti.
Number one on what's trending, we've been talking about throughout the show today. The Kansas Jayhawks, for the first time in program history at home, knocked off number one team in the country. In this case, it was Arizona. Previously unbeaten Arizona goes down last night. KU now 19-5 on the season. They did it without Darryn Peterson, who was a late scratch with flu-like symptoms. But the 82-78 win, one of the best ones in a while for the Kansas Jayhawks. They get number 5 Iowa State on Saturday as they continue through a brutal Big 12 schedule. But big-time win for them. Flory had a double-double. Bryson Tiller continues to play well. Melvin Council didn't have a great field goal percentage night, but he was the only player on the floor that played all 40 minutes in the win.
Next up on What's Trending, a judge has denied Charles Bediako's eligibility to play request. Obviously, as he came back and has played a handful of games for the University of Alabama, the former G League player has been trying to get his eligibility back in what is admittedly murky NCAA rules as it relates to eligibility. As it sits right now, he will not be allowed to play. Obviously, they did not get their injunction passed. Will they try to take this to a higher court? Probably. They got him all the way to Alabama and got him in some games. He hasn't even played all that great, is part of it, but they're going to keep trying, probably. It's probably better for the sport if we don't let 27-year-old G League players who got drafted 5 years ago play in play college basketball.
Yeah, I think it's insane. It definitely should not be allowed, but the rule book is technically open for that to be the case. All right, elsewhere, the Raiders made it official. No surprise, but they have hired Clint Kubiak to be their next head coach. The OC for Seattle went from winning a championship to being introduced the very next day out in Las Vegas. We'll see ultimately who his staff hires are and everything, but Tom Brady and Spy Tech, they end up getting their guy.
Although maybe losing their guy, because all the reports yesterday is that Crosby told him straight out, I will not be Raider anymore. So we'll see what happens with that. Next up on what trending, 4 NBA players are awaiting, I assume, suspension after being ejected after the Hornets and Pistons brawl following several different players. Jalen Duran, Diabate, Bridges, all got off or got into a fight on the court. It looks like it had slowed down. If you watch the video, Gold, they were yelling and some shoving, and it looked like it had separated. Then like a minute later, the thing reignites. So a big brawl.
Shout out Isaiah Stewart. That's what he's there for.
That's his job. He's a glue guy, but when it comes to fighting.
Oh, if you remember the video of somebody charging at LeBron from the Pistons, like he went from one end of the court to the other trying to get to LeBron James. Isaiah Stewart is that
likes
man.
to fight. I just watched an Olympic skier, or figure skater dressed up as a minion.
Okay. What country?
Spain.
No. That's what he was supposed to be.
The minion thing. He had the minion thing on his elbow patch, and he was in blue overalls and a yellow shirt.
Did he get paid extra to do that?
I don't know. Yeah, did Universal fork over some dough?
I'm thinking of the Olympics. Norway tied with Italy for the most medals so far, early going of the Winter Games out in Italy. Italy has 7 bronze to go overall with that total of 11. Norway, Switzerland, Austria, the U.S., Germany, all towards the top. The United States has 5 medals overall, including 2 gold, 2 silvers, and a bronze.
Cody, according to the sports director at the NBC affiliate in Charlotte, Isaiah Stewart explained why he hopped into the scuffle and said, "You're not expecting me to stay on the bench. The F I was drafted to Detroit for. This is what he does." The man wears knee pads to play.
Detroit's got a bad.
It looks like knee pads.
He's got a bad reputation for brawls, unfortunately.
Yeah, this was no malice. This was no malice at the Palace. This was also in Charlotte.
This one was in Charlotte.
That's an all-time.
Oh yeah.
I never watched that 30 for 30. Did you guys watch that?
I did not.
Shout out to our guy. Did you see there was a? I didn't watch it because I don't care about the Eagles. They have a new 30 for 30 out on the Philly special.
Okay.
The play that obviously
I think that's what it's called, isn't it?
Yeah, but you know who got a cameo in it? Didn't even know he was going to be in it? One newscaster, Harold Kuntz.
Oh, really?
Could be seen in the 30 for 30.
Nice.
They aired part of his newscast from that night where he was talking about the play.
Okay. Nice. That's cool.
Shout out to
I
Harold.
did not know that.
Yeah.
That's
Made his
what's
appearance.
trending. We're coming up in a few minutes, expected to have Brian Haney, the voice of the Jayhawks, join us to talk about KU's win over number 1 Arizona. Talk a little Darryn Peterson, also the Big 12 moving forward. Have you been following any of this Ryan Russillo stuff? So Ryan Russillo, the name, if it's familiar,
I am familiar with. I've interviewed Ryan Russillo
he used to work for ESPN and everything. Anyway, so the controversy over the weekend was on Friday night. People were like, "Hey man, check your Instagram," and his Instagram story had a not safe for work photo, basically like this topless woman or something. And everybody's like, what? So it became a joke on Friday night. And he had no explanation for it until now. Awful Announcing has a quote from him. He said, quote, "I don't post a lot, so I never saw. I did not see my story live or active. If I had seen something on my Instagram story, I would have freaked out and been like, what happened? Then I went to bed, 8 a.m., ready to attack the day, and I see over 100 calls and texts.
Ready to attack the day.
My first thought is, are we at war? And then in just seconds of waking up and seeing that much activity on your phone, I even had a positive moment where I went, am I being congratulated for something? And then I opened up the text and went, oh my God, how did that happen? What is this? Are you buying that?
No.
Also, not to shame anybody for issues they might be going with. This is also the same guy that once ended up in the wrong cabin at a resort because he was drunk and still has never explained that story.
No.
So
he's not gonna, I don't
I'm
think.
going to guess that it was him that posted it, Cody.
I like that he said it's pretty, DM game is pretty predictable. It's terrible stuff. Scams, people asking for favors, telling me you suck. He's just like going on about how his DMs are bad. That has nothing to do with you accidentally posting boobs on there, man. I don't know what to tell you. Those things you were describing about
it was
the
up there
internet
all
being
night.
a cesspool.
It was up there all night.
Oh, nice.
Well, yeah, because he went to bed. He didn't know, or
I should have given a warning to Brian Haney that you guys were
That we were
talking
gonna talk
about this,
about that
because
before?
him hopping
Well,
on.
we're
here,
not going to
you
ask him
guys
about.
talking
Don't worry,
it.
Brian. We're not going to ask you. But that was the Ryan Russillo thing.
He's careful in his social media.
That's right. Yeah. Brian Haney, the voice of the Jayhawks, joins us here on 96.5 The Fan to talk about one of the more impressive wins in a long time for the Kansas Jayhawks. Certainly the first time they beat a number 1 team at Allen Fieldhouse, a previously unbeaten Arizona. Brian, great to have you on the show, man. I know you've been part of some really, really special games in that building. Where does that atmosphere and all of it stack up for you?
Man, great question, guys. Thanks for having me on. I was just talking to somebody about this in the hallways here. We're all walking with 2 inches taller in our stride, but some bags under our eyes because not many of us slept last night. But we were standing around the water cooler talking, and, are there individual moments in Allen Fieldhouse history like the T-Rob block versus Mizzou in 2012 or Jock Vaughn's 3 versus Indiana, going back to the Roy Williams era, where in one moment in time, was there a bigger roar? Yes. But in terms of just collective electricity, the entire game and how turned up that venue was from the word go, it rivals some of the all-time great atmospheres at Allen Fieldhouse, like the triple overtime win over Oklahoma when Buddy Hield was so brilliant, like obviously the big comeback versus West Virginia in 2017 when we were down by 14 with 2:42 remaining. So to me, it's right there with the all-time great venue atmospheres at Allen Fieldhouse. Bill Self's quote was, "There have been better played games than this one, but that win was the biggest." And so I think for him, it ranks right up there with 2012 versus Mizzou with his favorite moments all time. And to see the rare outpouring of emotion with the double-fisted fist pump, arms in the air, first toward the fans on the west side, then the north side, then the east side, kind of working his way around and, saluting them for the energy they brought and the atmosphere they created. Maybe a tip of the cap, saluting them for not storming the court, since we expect to
just
win
saw that this
games
weekend
in
too.
the fog. But yeah, you just don't see that out of Bill. And then, as I tweeted, less than 2 minutes after he finally got back to the locker room, a bunch of his players come running back out to celebrate in the stands with those fans, and you never see that either. So it was truly a set-apart type of evening and an atmosphere as good as I've seen in all my years of being a Jayhawk.
Do you think that Bill was especially emotional just knowing, last season was very un-Kansas-like and went weird in the start of this season? And then even the continued questions with Darryn Peterson and other stuff too. It just feels like it hasn't been quite the normal run and health stuff and others. I felt like all of that must contribute to why he felt like that was such a big moment.
Yeah, Cody, I agree. And I think it's a combination of a lot of factors. Last couple of years, the vibes haven't quite been the same. The fit within the roster hasn't quite been the same. In this transfer portal era that we're living in right now, sometimes in that 3 or 4 week window of evaluation where you try to add key pieces based on what you see on film and on the floor, but you really don't have a great feel for how they're going to fit culture-wise and in the locker room. Sometimes it's a dice roll, and sometimes those portal pieces fit better than others. They've absolutely hit 2 home runs with Melvin Council and Trey White. And Melvin might be a grand slam home run, quite frankly, with the way the fan base has rallied around him and embraced him, self-saying he's as popular as any player he's ever had at Kansas. I think in a 1-year sample size, that's absolutely true. In a full career sample size, Devontae Graham comes to mind as the most beloved. But in the Self era, that is, just based on personality and charisma, the $1 million smile and his efforts on the floor, his leadership off of it, all of that. But Melvin's right there, and he's only been here since June, so it's pretty incredible. But yeah, I think when you consider some of the lack of fit the last couple of years and teams that didn't, achieve that typical Bill Self standard at Kansas. Last year was the first time in 22 years he wasn't in March Madness with a top 4 seed or higher. It had never happened, which was almost unfathomable considering other blue bloods have had years where they were out of the tournament entirely. And not only was Kansas in it every year, but they were a top 4 seed or higher until last year. And so there were just some things that were, not quite up to his typical standard. They probably had to do with just, the roster pieces not quite fitting as nicely as they had in the past, a product of the times that we're in and how you build your roster nowadays and how quickly it all gets assembled each spring. But this particular group has a special kind of chemistry. The vibes in that locker room right now are incredible, quite frankly, and especially when you consider some of the unpredictability of the availability of their superstar and the fact that Darryn Peterson missed his 11th game last night. And I don't know how much you're going to dive into that, but I would just say that I think that probably added to the spillover in emotions as well, because for anybody that's covered this program for even a hot minute, let alone 23 years under Bill Self, that the staples of Coach Self, what he's built this foundation of Kansas basketball greatness on. The pillars are all about toughness and grit. And the ultimate sign of toughness is finding out less than an hour before the game that the projected number one pick in the draft isn't going to be there. And you just all got to grab that rope and tug a little bit harder and take on a little bit more responsibility. That's toughness. That's grit. That's determination. And those are the things that really gets Bill Self fired up. So I think the combination of loving this team and seeing the way they love each other and play for one another, the combination of having to display even more toughness, playing shorthanded, and then just knowing what they've been through the last couple of seasons and where this club might be pointed as we win that game last night, exactly 8 weeks from when the national championship game will be played, thinking about what these next 60 days or so could look like for Kansas. I think all of that factored into the spillover emotions that you saw from Bill Self.
We're talking to the voice of the Jayhawks, Brian Haney, here on 96.5 The Fan, after Kansas comes up with one of the biggest wins in a long time for Kansas. And Brian, you kind of alluded to it there a little bit, just about what last night's win meant emotionally for this team as well. Bigger picture, you said it, 8 weeks away from the national title game. This team has been on a heck of a run here the last 7 games or so, and then to win that way without their superstar in Darryn Peterson. We were saying earlier that any doubt about them being a true national title contender, I think if there was still doubt, it ends after last night.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I expect them to be on the 2 seed line in most of the bracketologies. I know one got updated today and we're still at the 3 line, but there's a bunch of those out there and we'll see. But you look at the resume, but by the end of this month, we'll have the number 1 strength of schedule. I think we were 2 last time I checked it, but you look at who they scheduled in the non-con, who they get a double dip of in the Big 12 scheduling with, return trips to Iowa State and Arizona as well. And this is going to be as impressive and as battle-tested of a schedule as you could possibly have. And so, to me, it's a team that's rounding into form in terms of seed line, rounding into form in terms of playing their best basketball when it matters most. And then if you are able to consistently add in Darryn Peterson and you are able to see him finish games, who in the world wants to play Kansas right now when you've got that kind of alpha and his ability to take a game over in key stretches? Now, obviously, we're riding high tonight and today because of the performance last night without him, and so we'll talk more about the guys that did play, and that's probably what most fans want to hear. But the point is, when you do get whole with him and you're potentially adding, a generational talent of which we've not seen in the last 20 years on top of a club that knows how to win without him, and a head coach that has been able to walk that fine line and tightrope balancing act of having a team that really has 2 separate identities. I don't know many that could pull that off, but they've played enough without him to have one version of Kansas that's very good and very impressive and could make a deep March run. But also, you realize for them to probably cut down nets and hang a 7th banner, you got to have that guy that's truly special and as good of a recruit as Bill Self's ever had in 23 seasons here, as good of an individual player in terms of a pro prospect since Paul Pierce back in 1998, and he was a junior, by the way. So, to me, it's kind of 2 separate versions of Kansas, but as the voice of the Jayhawks and a guy that sees these guys every day and a guy that sees all the good that Darryn, I think, has in his heart and wanting to be a part of this thing, I still believe it's going to all come together at full strength. But kudos to the guys that were able to be out there last night and lift this team to a victory. And you love the toughness mindset of Bill Self when they find out inside an hour to tip off that this is what they got to roll with. And I won't say exactly what he said on the post game, but he said to Greg, basically SH blank IT, we're still going to win this thing. You know what I mean? If this is what we got, heck, we're still going to win this thing, What? I assume you can say the S word on 610, but I don't want to, break any rules.
Got to be careful, at least. On most of these, we can't, but, some of the words you can get away with, so better to be safe. When you look at ISO, let's take out the fan public sentiment that is frustrated, I think, with Darryn Peterson's availability, depending on whether it's, this case, the flu or the injury. Internally, you're around the team a lot. This is always the question we have. Teammates, does anybody internally have an issue with the way Darryn Peterson's handled things so far?
not that's ever been expressed out loud in any form or fashion that I've seen. I think he is genuinely loved by his teammates and widely respected throughout that locker room. They realize what a special talent he is. They realize an additional level this team can get to when he is available and able to finish games. And they probably see his level of frustration. But there's some layers to this onion we'll probably not ever fully get to witness ourselves, even those of us inside the initial layer of internal team stuff. But I do think that he is loved by his teammates, and I don't think there's any type of dissension or, oh man, how come he's not there for us? Because he's out there as much as he can be in practice, and I think that if you get a chance to get to know the kid, and I know that's not easily accessible all the time as much as we're accustomed to perhaps, but I see a really likable young man who genuinely is enjoying as much of this college experience as he's going to be able to get in terms of just being here for a year. And it's the type of guy that, he enters practice and he's dapping everybody up down to the guy that fills the Gatorade cooler and smiling and genuinely trying to soak up the moments and, joking with his teammates and that kind of thing. So anybody that tries to paint another picture of maybe the way he interacts or how much he cares probably isn't even remotely close to this program. I know it's disappointing when you don't have your guy out there, and I'm not trying to tell anybody how they should feel, but I can tell you I see a guy that is really enjoying the experience as much as he's allowed to in the midst of a frustrating semester and a half of dealing with hamstring tightness and chronic cramping that won't go away, it seems, and then having the ankle roll and the flu-like symptoms and all that. It's been one thing after another, and that would be frustrating for anybody. But I know his teammates genuinely like him a lot, and that's probably where, the first indicator would be of how this fit's going to work out.
Last question I have for you. I just want to ask about two other players that Alex and I both think, and we don't watch Kansas the way you watch them, but since like November 15th, December 1st, I don't know, I've seen a huge difference in Badunga and Tiller's play. Have you seen the same thing, I guess, in their contributions? I think last night obviously highlighted that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Flory right now, Bill Self said it after the Texas Tech game, this is the best defender in America, and he could win the Naismith Defensive Player of the Year award, not just because he's blocked 68 shots and is top 5 nationally and leads the Big 12 there, but because of his defensive versatility and the way Kansas switches ball screens. He'll pick up a point guard with regularity. Last night, in what was a 3-point game with 16 seconds to go, Burries tries to drive it and get to the cup, initially gets past Flory, but with that incredible catch-up speed and athleticism and bounciness, he swats him from behind on, a game-clinching type block. And we've seen it time and time again out of Flory defensively, his versatility in guarding all 5 spots on the floor, which is truly rare and set apart. And I think on top of that, you've seen him develop a myriad of post moves that weren't there a year ago when he was primarily just a lob catcher and rim runner type offensive player. His free throw percentages are up by 15 percentage points from last season. So you go from being a liability at 53% to now a potential weapon shooting in the upper 60s and getting there a lot. And I think, all of that speaks to a guy that, was a top 10 player coming out of high school, played behind Hunter last year, and you only saw flashes. But now in that second season, is really starting to tap into the potential that they once envisioned for him. In the case of Bryson Tiller, real quickly, folks forget all the time that this was a 5-star top 20 guy that would have been a McDonald's All-American had he not reclassified to come in at semester last January just to be around the culture and be a part of the program. He was rehabbing an injury and ultimately had a long recovery in front of him. And so it's not like he was ever going to play last spring, but because he came in early to kind of soak up, what the expectations level were going to be and all that, he missed out on the pomp and circumstance that comes with being a McDonald's All-American. And suddenly he wasn't mentioned with all of these other star-studded freshmen in maybe the greatest, rookie class we've seen in 15 years in college basketball. And so folks forget that, hey man, this was a top 20 guy. And it's wild, but his 2 best performances as a Jayhawk have come when the most NBA scouts have been in the house.
Right.
And I'm not saying that that's, what motivated him and he's not doing it when they're not there. It just happened to coincide with the BYU game, and then last night with the Arizona game, he steps up and shines the brightest when you got 30-plus guys there from 22 different teams showing up to probably see him, but more specifically other players, particularly in the BYU game when they were all there for Devonsa and Peterson. So, hey, man, he's a gamer. He's figuring it out. I know he didn't play to his size all the time early in the year and went through a little bit of a shooting slump with his three-point shot for about 6 weeks in there. But, man, he has all the intangibles, checks every box in terms of the integrity and the work ethic and the character of this young man. And now he's playing to that size even more with an aggressiveness that wasn't there a month ago. And now you start to see that five-star potential for him, too. So I think that's spot on, Cody, and great observations by you and Alex both on some guys that really kicked it into a much higher gear in the midst of 8 straight wins for Kansas.
Brian Haney, voice of the Jayhawks, part of a historic night last night at Allen Fieldhouse. Always appreciate it, man. Get a little bit of rest if you can, and then you got a big one on Saturday, obviously, up in Ames.
Man, we're looking forward to it. Always a pleasure, guys. Thanks for the invitation, and let's talk again in March, all right?
There you go. That's Brian Haney, the voice of the Kansas Jayhawks, part of the Kansas broadcast last night, where he called one of the more historic wins in Allen Fieldhouse history, the first time and only time that the Kansas Jayhawks have beat a number 1 team at the Fieldhouse. Yeah.
It just feels weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
I think we looked it up.
Basketball conference or Kansas.
I think we looked it up. They only had one other opportunity.
It was against Arizona
in 2003, and they lost.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good stuff there from Brian Haney talking about Darryn Peterson and, of course, Melvin Council. I mean, I think everybody universally agrees. So quickly for him to just be an all-time Jayhawk in
a got to stick around a little while to be like a fan favorite.
Yeah, and student section loves him. And it's hard not to root for somebody that plays the way he does as well. He's been an awesome addition to the Kansas Jayhawks. All right, up next, we'll get to our postseason wrap-up, all 32, and the random question of the day right here on Cody and Gold.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Vinny Pasquantino, and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
It's not too late if you didn't meet your goals in January. At Synergen X and Low T Center, we're extending the New Year's promos to February, and you can book a free testosterone test and pick up discounted peptides or GLP-1s while you're there. They work with most insurance plans and want to get you started on TRT. Why Synergen X and Low T Center? They've got great spots all over town. You can use their mobile app after an initial visit of 20 minutes where their on-site lab will help you diagnose some of those problems. Maybe it's been the lack of energy, bad sleep, poor quality sex life, all of that stuff can be a sign of low testosterone. And Synergen X and Low T Center are ready to help in February by extending their January deal. So if you want to find out how they can personalize TRT to you, well then book an appointment over at Synergen X or lowtcenter.com. That's Synergen X or lowtcenter.com.
Call Hamilton today for our $79 mainline drain cleaning special. The pros at Hamilton will inspect your drains with video camera technology to pinpoint exactly what is needed to clear those clogs and help prevent expensive drain repairs. The expert technicians at Hamilton are ready 7 days a week to solve your problem the right way, the first time. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 5-star reviews are great reasons to trust Hamilton. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11120.
Are you a little bit down that football is over and you're looking for something that gives you that excitement, that thrill, mixed in with a little patriotism? Well, I'm here to tell you about the Winter Games, and you want to know why betting the Winter Games on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app, makes sense? From game lines to medal counts to finding your angles on the events that you care about most, FanDuel is giving you more ways to stay connected to the action. So it doesn't matter if it's skiing, it doesn't matter if it's hockey, it doesn't matter if it's bobsledding. The Winter Games are on, and there's no better way to follow them than with the bet with our friends over on FanDuel. You can bet on curling, matches that start slow and somehow get intense. You can bet on speed skating, decided by inches, hockey games that show your patriotism from the opening face-off, and so much. FanDuel, play your game, America's #1 sportsbook app, and FanDuel is also the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Men, the new year is here, and if you're like many of us, you're ready to improve your health. But if you're feeling low energy, not sleeping well, or not seeing results in the gym, keeping that resolution can be tough. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if those symptoms sound familiar, we can likely help. They often point to low testosterone, and treating low T is what we do. But this year, we're also helping men go further with 4 targeted body composition plans featuring growth hormone peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more, designed to boost energy, support metabolism, enhance recovery, and accelerate fat loss. With our low T treatments combined with our body composition programs, most men notice real improvements: more energy, better focus, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and often a renewed sex drive as well. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or visit heartlandmenshealth.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
That's another amazing run by Team USA.
Mom, think I'll be on Team USA one day?
Well, I'll take this one.
What? Are you speaking to us?
Yes, and to answer your question, anything's possible, especially with Xfinity.
So, I can be the best snowboarder ever?
Well, I can't guarantee that, but Xfinity can guarantee that your internet price won't change for 5 years.
Okay. What if I practice every day?
Then maybe you'll be snowboarding for Team USA at the next Olympic Winter Games. And Mom, you'll still be paying the same price for Wi-Fi.
Ooh, really stuck the landing there.
It's the Xfinity Gold Medal Celebration. Now through February 22nd, get our best price on gig Wi-Fi for 5 years guaranteed, just $50 a month. Plus, get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. That's a $10.99 value per month. Xfinity. Imagine that. Proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Actual speeds vary.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like payroll manager.
Hi, my last paycheck was all in Icelandic krona.
You are welcome.
Welcome?
Given the exchange rate between the dollar and the krona, you're technically a millionaire now. Don't spend it all in one place.
I can't really spend it anywhere.
There's always Iceland.
This is a job for sponsored jobs. This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
You can swirl it, you can sip it, but the best way is to share it. Hey y'all, I'm Deanna, a team member at my local Chick-fil-A. And a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich and new frosted sodas and floats is how well they go together. You get that bold flavor of the Coke mixed with the smooth deliciousness of the vanilla ice cream. You have a juicy filet and a smooth, creamy float. It's an awesome pairing.
Order a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich and a new frosted soda and float at your local Chick-fil-A restaurant. Real team member paid for their testimonial.
Chiefs coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back.
Hey, it's almost Andy Reid. Who knew a Halloween costume would change my life and lead me to Renner Garage Door? Renner's KC's go-to team for service, repair, and replacement.
RENNER, RENNER.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
All right, back here on Cody and Gold. Coming up in 8 minutes, we'll get to the random question of the day.
It's about the Olympics. It's an Olympics-based question, not which one you think you can compete in. Although I did learn one of the Swedish Olympians for curling, who's going to compete against the Americans, She's like, I just picked it up as a hobby in my early 30s. Just same as you or Drew.
How old is she now? So she
like 5 years later.
So 5 years later, she's an Olympian?
Yes.
Probably the U.S. curling team.
She's playing for a gold medal, Drew. You could be an Olympian.
The U.S. curling team's very good, though.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's true. You got to practice. You got to want it more.
That's true.
Got to want it more than Darryn Peterson wants to be on the court right
Okay.
now. In fairness, this one's an easy one to criticize him on. I have been more than fair.
I think
you guys
in the flu. I think with the flu, you got to at least give it a go. You got to at least show some effort.
The Chiefs offseason show took a quick detour to talk about that.
I think Bob mentioned.
I
think Bob mentioned Darryn Peterson's name like 12 times in the 2 hours. In the 2 hours that we were doing.
From the KU guy, I thought that was interesting.
That's he is a KU guy. You were correct.
But he also probably wants Darryn Peterson. I think there's a lot of Kansas fans
Bob
frustrated by
Bob
Darryn Peterson.
won't hate me for saying. He also can't stand college basketball, so it's easy for him to say that. No, it's true. He doesn't like college basketball.
No, I know.
That's fine. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's easier to just say that when you don't like the sport anyway.
It just, I'm always trying to be like open at least when it comes to that stuff. Like, we've talked about like I don't watch college football all the time, but then I watch college football and every game's 50-10, and I'm like, well, I'm not interested. And I know it's not every game, but it's a lot.
In fairness, the last 2 national titles have destroyed and been very much so better than the last 2 Super Bowls by a mile.
Yeah, no argument. I can't remember the one 2 years ago now, the national title game, but I'm sure it was because the last the 2 Super Bowls ago was a blowout too.
And I would say, there's no argument there. I would say NFL wildcard weekend was better than a couple of the college football playoff games. You know what I mean?
College football playoff wasn't very good this year. There was a couple of them that were good, but
same thing applies. Thanks again to Brian Haney, by the way, for joining us, voice of the Jayhawks. All right, let's get to our final one for a little bit at least of postseason all 32, and I'm going to go to
let's give some final thoughts on a few teams.
Yeah, I'm going to go to Pittsburgh for mine.
All right.
So we know Mike McCarthy is the head coach. And there was a report from Tom Pelissero that the odds are increasingly likely now that Rodgers returns. The Steelers, this is not like even an anti-Aaron Rodgers thing. I'm just about for their franchise. They should tell Aaron Rodgers, hey, man, we're just not doing that again, man. We're not doing that. We're going to try either another quarterback, a younger quarterback, even if it means a step back. Problem is, this is why I wouldn't have hired Mike McCarthy. You don't hire Mike McCarthy to be willing to take a slight step back to build for the future. You hire Mike McCarthy to win, which you're like, well, yeah, but
and I need a quarterback
the problem
to win.
is Aaron Rodgers, your best case scenario is another 10 or 11 win season and an early playoff exit. That's all you are. You're stuck. So
he's the best quarterback available.
Is he still?
I'd rather over Kyler Murray or Kirk Cousins.
He's the most accomplished. He's you know what I mean? Like
who's the best available if it's not him?
At this point in
time,
time,
it's not a good crew of free agent quarterbacks.
It's not great. It's not. I'm just telling you, Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, I wouldn't go with any of those guys, is what I'm saying.
That's fair. That's more than fair. Look, I don't want to get stuck in no man's land, and you and I just don't. So that's the case. Drew, I don't mean to... I'm going to bring up something about college football before we talk about the rest of the All-32.
What?
You saying in defense of college football the last 2 national championship games were close is accurate. But I mean, are we ignoring that I was looking at I was like, are they always close?
No.
The 4 before were massacres. 65-7. 33-18, 52-24. You are right, though. The last 2 have been better. I was just looking at it.
I'm just saying for a league that says that every game is close and the talent is so close, which is true.
I think that's hyperbole. I don't think that.
Yeah. I think it stands out more when a game's 40-6 at some point in the NFL than it is.
Oh, yeah.
40-point blowout in college.
It is, but I guess that's part of my issue with the sport.
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to stick with quarterback, at least on this end. I'm going to say not what the 49ers are saying, but what Mac Jones should be. He should be telling the 49ers, I want out. I don't care if you want me as your little safety net for Brock Purdy. No, thank you. I just saw a guy my same age go to the Super Bowl and win it in his first year with his team with a first-year head coach. I can revitalize my whole career. I can get rich. No, thank you. I don't want to be the backup to Brock Purdy for a year. I'd like my freedom, please. And as a matter of fact, give me a little bit of freedom to choose a couple of teams who are interested in trading for me. Because if one of those teams is the Steelers, or one of those, maybe not the Jets, but if one of those teams are actually somewhat functional as an organization, I'd like my chance to go start. I appreciate the opportunity you've given me here, and I know that the 49ers publicly are saying they don't want to trade him, which is, I think, their way of saying, give us more draft compensation. But Mac Jones should want out. Yeah. He should want to go get his own thing.
I don't think we'll ever see a backup quarterback try to force his way out, but I hear you. I think they probably are trying to see if the value increases. There's not a great crop of quarterbacks available this offseason, as we know, so maybe you get more. Now, is he valuable to San Francisco staying? Absolutely, because Brock Purdy's not been able to stay healthy. And, Mac Jones can go win a game in the division on the road for you. Not many teams, any team really
can do that.
has the ability to do that. And so
Malik Willis, I guess, maybe. He's going to get paid.
I don't think we should treat it as, it's definitive now. There's no way Mac Jones is getting traded. But I can understand why, with the amount of money he's making, which is very little, why the Niners might just say, we'll roll the dice another year to protect ourselves in case Brock Purdy has an injury. But when you have teams looking at Aaron Rodgers and Kirk Cousins and Malik Willis, and the draft only has one quarterback going in the top 10 probably, or even the top 15, it's not a great offseason to go need a quarterback.
As the teams who need a quarterback, Arizona, maybe Carolina, I would argue. Cleveland, who else? You think New Orleans is just sticking with Shuck for a year? Probably. Jets. I'm just trying to think of the teams who need a quarterback.
I don't know if Arizona or Carolina need one right now. I mean, I know that Kyler Murray could get moved, but if he's there, Kyler Murray's the quarterback. And I think Bryce Young.
Carolina's probably not in the random Mac Jones veteran thing, but I'm telling you right now, they need a quarterback. They keep trying to believe in Bryce Young to happen.
He looked
good. It ain't
good.
going to happen. Good. Drew, he's looked better.
Well, then then other teams need to move off of some other quarterbacks who we're not talking about then. Because Bryce Young looked better than a number of quarterbacks who we think are going to get another shot.
They exercise the fifth-year option for Bryce Young, which is what you need to do. I would not give Bryce Young an extension. Exercising the fifth-year option, though, is totally the way to play it. You play it out for another couple of years, and you don't have to commit long-term.
And if he takes a big leap like Darnold,
you worry about it
then you can deal with it, yeah. I definitely wouldn't pay him now.
My end of season all 32 is regarding a report from Ian Rappaport that as much as y'all and everybody like to joke about this team and everything like that, they plan on spending money on the defensive side of the football
about time
this offseason. So I am very optimistic for the Bengals offseason as they look to further improve that roster along with having the 10th overall pick.
About time. Actually, what we've been making fun of your team for is not spending on defense. Alex and I spent an entire offseason saying it's insane to pay both T. Higgins and Jamar Chase when you have the league's worst defense. And that was the league's worst defense when they had Trey Hendrickson still getting like 18 sacks. And so, they should spend some money on some defense. Good for them.
Yeah, I think they spent,
have cap space?
they have $54 million in cap space. They're one of the top, very much, which is why I think they also they can tag Trey Hendrickson, and it's not a problem.
You know they're going to sign? They're going to sign Brian Cook.
Go on ahead, bring him in.
That's who they're going to sign.
He's from Cincinnati, played there, yeah.
Oh, he did play at Cincinnati. I wasn't even saying it for that reason.
His profile header, I think the whole time he was here in Kansas City was actually
him in a Bearcat uniform?
Was Cincinnati, yeah.
Maybe he misses it. At least he's familiar with the city.
Yeah,
and nobody seems to enjoy.
Safety is maybe the biggest need that they actually have on that defense because they are awful at tackling.
Drew, remind me, have you been to the city of Cincinnati?
Yeah, I've been multiple times.
Oh, okay.
Not for a Bengals game, but I've been to a lot of Reds games growing up, went to Kings Island multiple times, yeah.
Going back to the Bryce Young. Someone says, Bryce Young this is a text line. Bryce Young's a top 16 quarterback. You're brain dead thinking otherwise. Well,
man, don't make me list off quarterbacks right now. I think I could get to 15 before.
Well, there's a couple.
I think he might be in that. He's in that range, 14 to 18. So 16 to 18.
If we real quickly do the exercise, okay, Stafford's ahead of him, Herbert's ahead of him, Josh Allen's ahead of him, Mahomes is ahead of him, Dak's ahead of him. How many am I up to?
5.
Okay.
Might as well go Jared Goff, May,
Jared
right?
Goff, Trevor Lawrence, Darnold, May. Did I mention Joe Burrow yet? I have not. Jordan Love. Who have I mentioned? Missing some people. Brock Purdy to me is better. Lamar Jackson is better. Caleb Williams is better. Baker is better.
Jalen
Hurts is better. Bo Nix is better.
Oh, hold on. Are we?
Yes.
We are sure that Jalen Hurts at this moment in time.
Come on.
Jalen Hurts? I thought you were going to argue Bo Nix. I wasn't expecting you to argue Jalen Hurts.
Bryce Young.
Bo Nix too.
I think, I don't know how many I counted there, but I think 15, that puts
probably. I was trying to count.
That puts him probably 18.
You're right around there in that 16 to 18 range.
I didn't get to keep going, but yeah.
You're not going to legitimately try to argue Bryce Young over Jalen Hurts, are you? Jalen Hurts had more passing yards, more rushing yards, more passing touchdowns, and less interceptions this year. And plus all the other success.
If we're just going off of stats, now that's also, there's an issue with that. I get it. But just stats, Bryce Young was 23rd, technically. Now, I think it's not fair to just go off the stats. So. But if we were just doing it stats.
QBR, what's the stat?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Hey, for your reasoning, Cody, I'll also like to point out that Jalen Hurts had A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Saquon Barkley with the offense.
I understand.
And Bryce Young
it's just such a weird. Like the conversation was, would you extend Bryce Young? And
not right now.
The text line argument is that, Well, he's just below average. That's what you said. He's average.
If my quarterback is not in the top 10, I'm not paying them. That is my personal rules of franchise.
So you can settle for somebody that you might not...
Settle? I'd rather be terrible than have the 15th best quarterback. Just genuinely. If they let me run a team and they promised me no firing or any of this other stuff, not saving my ass, I would never pay a quarterback.
I forgot to mention
who is
Jaden
15th or worst.
I forgot to mention, I'd still rather have Jaden Daniels over Bryce Young. I forgot to mention his name.
I think that's why when you look at the whole picture, I think offensively to start the year, he was not good very much at all. But you look at the last 8 games,
he played better.
He was I would say he was a top 16 quarterback the last 5 to 7 games of the season.
Lists are fun because everybody has a different opinion. But somebody like this text, like some of it is like we can disagree who's 5th versus 9th or whatever. That's fine. Someone said Dak is not better than Bryce Young. Stop. What are we doing? Stop.
I would say Dak is better. Yeah.
I do not respect.
Yeah, it's not even a question. Dak is better than Bryce Young. Come on.
We don't like.
The question is if you want to put Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud higher, and that's the debate. And I would put Bryce Young higher right now. But that's an actual
we don't have to
argument.
Offer bad opinions. Or like
Dak
just
Prescott not being better than Bryce Young. Come on.
Bryce Young is better than Jackson.
Dak Prescott was an actual MVP candidate 2 years ago, guys.
Bryce Young is currently better than Jackson Dart, but by the end of this year, I'm not sure he will be. I agree with you. Like, as it sits today, he is. But there aren't that many.
Look, Jalen Hurts, to me, there's a lot of questions I have, but he's still better than Bryce Young.
Yes. Yes.
So it says Bryce is a playoff quarterback. Dak isn't. Okay. All right.
That has more to do with the team and everything else.
This one year, sure.
That means that
who's made the playoffs more? Who's made the playoffs more frequently?
Also, the playoff argument for the 8-9 Carolina Panthers is not exact, or not whatever they finished.
When Dallas was 7-9-1, like they were just some drastically different football teams.
Yeah. Anyway,
I don't
Bryce Young had a nice season, but we don't need to act like now he's just proven that he's one of the top 12 quarterbacks or 15 quarterbacks and above average. He's an average quarterback, is what he is.
Yeah, and look, maybe he's being held back by a bad franchise, the way Darnold or Baker or one of these other guys were.
Kyler Murray, Bryce Young, I'd still choose Kyler Murray. Yes.
It's hard to say, though, that you wouldn't pay him because of what we've seen at the quarterback position in recent years, where, like, you're not – I would rather be – from the standpoint of – you would rather tank and be in stink at the chance of a quarterback being better than Bryce Young.
Yes.
Teams don't operate that way, but I get what you're saying, Teams don't operate that way, but yes.
Which is why Bryce will get paid.
I think somebody will eventually pay him, and I'm just saying I think that's a mistake. That's all. We can disagree on it. Like that's my point.
Otherwise, you end up becoming the Jets.
Well, the Jets problem.
The Jets just a turnstile of
the Jets have had
this guy works. You know.
I mean, the Jets have other issues. Their issue, like if Bryce Young was drafted by the Jets, they would move. He wouldn't have been what he was.
It's easy to just say, or you become the Jets, but maybe they let go of Bryce Young and they get Joe Burrow, or they draft Josh Allen, or they draft Patrick Mahomes, or they draft they could. I'm not saying it's not easy, Drew, but sure they could be the Jets, but they could also have one of the better quarterbacks in the league instead of being stuck in mediocrity. I just wouldn't, I'm not in the business of paying the 16th best quarterback long-term contracts.
GMs don't operate the way you're suggesting, but I don't disagree. That's just most GMs wouldn't, operate in that way.
No, they won't. And some because of fear of loss of job or other reasons, but I get it.
All right, let's get to the random question.
Random question.
Random question today brought to you by Kansas City Urology Care at KCUC. Remember, you see the best in KC. Visit kcurology.com today. For you, Gold, you, Drew, text line 913-586-7965. Currently over on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook. We can live stream the show most days. We're still going through technical issues. We are trying to resolve it. Currently, the video stream's up, running, and handling everything fine. So join us over on the video streams if you so inclined. Random question I have for you today. I'm gonna explain a story to you, and then I want to ask you one very simple question after this, to which I think everyone's answer will be no, but I'm curious if you think that this was a good idea by this person and whether or not you think she should consider. And what I will call one of the more bizarre moments of the Olympics so far. I can't pronounce his name, but he's a Norwegian biathlete. He won a bronze medal. In accepting his bronze medal, Drew, he, in the interview, admitted, totally unprompted, that he had cheated on his girlfriend, that she had left him, and that he was using this moment to apologize publicly in hopes that she would take him back.
Well.
So he said, there's someone I wanted to share it with who might not be watching. 6 months ago, I met the love of my life, the most beautiful and kindest person in the world. 3 months ago, I made the biggest mistake and cheated on her. And I told her about a week ago, it's been the worst week of my life, he says tearfully in the interview. should she consider taking him back? He cheated.
Yeah.
He's known her for 6 months. He cheated on her 3 months ago. He let her know a week ago before the man went to the Olympics. He got a bronze medal and used his pulpit to say, I'm sorry I cheated on you. Please take me back.
So,
should she consider?
So I don't know the dynamics, obviously, of their relationship and how everything else was going prior to that. I fundamentally just have a belief that once a cheater, always a cheater. So I don't
think that this
I'm not
man
gonna trust you again. So I don't care if we've been in a relationship for, especially in this case, they weren't even. It's not like they've been married for 10 years. 6 months, easy, get out. She already cheated. Are you already cheated on her? If you're him or if you're her and he cheated on you, 6 months, nah, he's gonna do it again. Absolutely not. No, it's over. It's done.
You think just out?
6 months into the relationship, he's already cheating on you.
Is
it's
it worse
over.
to cheat early or late? I guess in that argument.
Well, for who? For
In
her,
this
it's
case.
better he cheated now to get it over with and be done and know that
No,
this
I just
guy.
meant like you're saying like he couldn't even wait 3 months to cheat on her. I'm saying like maybe he barely knew her then. Is that better? I've never cheated on someone. I'm just asking like for a semantic
I'm
reason.
just saying that this idea of like, oh, I'll never do it again. BS. Absolutely not. No. You cheat 6 months in and you cheated already? That relationship is going no. He's going to do it again in 6 months.
It's
Absolutely
wild
not.
behavior to be standing there in an interview after you hand you a bronze medal and being like, I cheated on my girlfriend, but I still love her. Please come back.
Nah.
That is like all-time desperation.
No.
He admitted publicly, I got to say, there is a little bit, and I'm not defending the actions of the cheater, but there is, I will say, it takes some gusto to admit on what is assumingly your version of national TV over there
The
in
biggest moment of
Norway.
your life, essentially.
The biggest moment of your life on national TV in Norway and be like, well, I cheated on my girlfriend. Please take me back. That's a crazy thing to do.
I think she should consider it. Sure, that doesn't mean she makes the decision
Yeah,
and
you're
goes back.
saying- you're saying-
Your question was,
You
should
saying
they
a
get
cup
back
of coffee
together?
can't hurt.
Your question was, should she consider? Absolutely, because this is the thing too. Not to provide context about the situation, but there are plenty of people who I knew, friends, who would not be in a dating situation, but they would, go and hang out at a variety. They would bounce around a little bit, and all of a sudden you get in a relationship and you're
In this
stuck to the
case,
same
they were
habits.
definitely in a relationship, it sounded
No,
like.
I know, I
Oh,
understand
you're
that.
saying stuck
But
in
I'm
the
saying
same
if this
habits,
person
yeah.
prior to the relationship, they
together, it
were bouncing around a little bit, and all of a
But
sudden
they
you get
weren't.
in that
They were in a
relationship.
relationship.
Someone says
You're not lit. No.
I heard what
Before
you
the
said.
relationship,
He's saying this guy
You're
might have
bouncing around
developed
once-
some bad habits and
once
made
a
a
week.
mistake.
Exactly, and that means he's going to do it again.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Your argument is if you cheated once, you'll cheat forever.
But they weren't in
He's saying-
relationships before then. They were single, bouncing around. You get in a
No, we
relationship,
know.
you're so used to the same habits that you were in. You made a mistake.
That's just you're describing what a cheater is. He's still cheating.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying he didn't cheat one time, but I'm saying you had a prior history.
You're giving a reason for why you think there might be a case for them to get back
Correct.
together. Gold saying,
Correct.
if you cheat, you're 100% out. I got it. I got it. Someone says, now look, you can't, after asking for after a bronze, you got to at least get a gold medal to do that. You got to actually win the thing. Do you know how hard it is to get a bronze, though?
I wish
says the bronze medal increased both.
I wish them well, but we got to keep an eye on this story. One, I want to find out if they ever get back together, and then two, let's check in a year and see if they're still together, and we'll see why they broke up. Spoiler: if they break up a year from now, it's because he cheated again.
That man, I mean, just gets off his skis. Biathlete, right? That's where they like shoot the gun and ski.
I think that's
Is that the biathlon?
I think so.
He's like, I got that bronze. I cheated on my girlfriend. Like, hey man, didn't ask. Not sure why you're divulging that information right now. Is it worse? Because like, if I were her, even if I had considered, even if I really loved this person and I was upset that they cheated and I was considering getting back with them anyway, I don't think I'd want him to nationally admit that he cheated on me.
Gotcha.
Let's have a private conversation about this. Maybe don't blast our stuff out on the street and tell everybody I know and you know that when we were dating, you cheated on me. Like maybe like if I'm even under the consideration of this, maybe you don't have to put all of our business out there. That's all.
Maybe it's just either two people in particular I can think of where they cheated in a relationship and it ended poorly, got back together, married now, perfectly fine, kids.
I've never said it's
amazing
never
life.
ever happened in life. I'm just saying.
Which is why she should consider it.
Okay, Drew's in. He says consider it.
She should absolutely consider it then.
I don't have anybody in my life like that, but
As long as it wasn't
they've
like-
never divulged.
We
it.
just
As
have
long as
we
it
just
wasn't
have
like abusive or anything like that,
Well,
of course,
well,
or anything
yeah,
like
I mean,
that. But
that's
if
a
it's
whole
simply
different
off,
question.
it's
I didn't say
simply off
that.
of, if it's simply off of cheating alone, then I mean, yeah, I would consider it, given the person's apologetic.
We just have a differing opinion on it philosophically. That's fine. It goes back to the Coldplay thing. we were saying like, those people deserve to be criticized for it. And you had the stance, which was more of like, oh, it's none of anybody's business and everything. We just have a different view. Like you're just, that's different. That's all. Yeah.
Oh, the Coldplay couple. What a moment.
Polar Bear commercial.
Yeah,
Pepsi.
You know what? I was worried that joke had really been dead, but at least the Polar Bear one, that's a pretty clever way of doing it. Because those jokes got, like the Halloween costumes, it got played out a little bit.
That's the random question of the day.
Said, he's an Olympic medalist. She'd be crazy not to take him back. But only bronze, Silver and up? Hard to say.
Someone said they just found out, this is not the snitch line, but this would have been one. Someone said they just found out their wife is cheating this morning. I hope that's not true. I hope that's not a real
really
text.
Unfortunate time.
How long have you guys been married? Do you have kids? I need more details.
This would be a really unfortunate time for this segment if you just found that out.
Yeah, please send us more details on that. Sorry, from the 913. I need more details. Hopefully,
you want all the dirt?
Well, now I do. Yeah.
I was talking in class. They have to give their podcast. They're going to start recording their podcast today, their first one, and they had to give pitches last week. And we were talking about like demographics, and they were like, well, I was talking about like restaurant industry, and I'm like, industry and all this other stuff. And, we're talking about who's your audience, the normal stuff, right? And somebody was like, I said, I think you're missing a big key part of your audience. They're like, what? I'm like, people who just like gossip. You're forgetting that there's a huge part of society that just likes dirt. They just like to gossip and want gossip about other people. That is an audience. It's like, what do you think the 17 series of The Real Housewives?
Text line person responded back, said, it's true, unfortunately. It hurts. 3 years, no kids.
Oh, man, sorry.
Yeah, that sucks, man.
Brutal.
Hate to hear that. So are you staying together?
What are you going to do if they win a gold medal and ask for you back?
Let us know what you're deciding to do. I'm sure you've got it all figured out already.
Will you go have coffee with this person and give them some real advice? But your advice is don't go back because you said once a cheater, always a cheater. You're a zero threshold.
There's also a difference being married 3 years versus this guy that with 6 months in the relationship couldn't be faithful.
Also, as it depends on the conversation, is this individual regretting the decision? Are they apologetic, or is it?
I'm sure now that you know what's hit the fan, I'm sure they are apologetic.
I don't know.
There's a lot of questions to ask. A lot of. We're needing an update on this one too, I guess.
Yeah,
that's terrible though.
All right, up next.
It is.
No, I know.
Now I can't stop laughing because we were laughing.
I know.
Really?
No, it totally is. All right, up next. We'll get to the 1 o'clock hour. I want to talk about expansion in sports, and one league seems to be headed in that direction. We'll see how Kansas City fits in next.
Cody and Gold.
I'm just telling you the facts.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. 96.5, The Fan.
Midwest winters take a real toll on your garage door if it isn't ready. Let Overhead Door Company of Kansas City come out and perform their 14-point tune-up on the garage door and 12-point tune-up on the opener. One price covers 3 garage doors and openers. The work is guaranteed. Overhead Door Company of Kansas City. Trusted here since 1927. Call now to schedule your garage door tune-up, 816-221-0072. Or schedule online at ohdkc.com. ohdkc.com.
Guys, Hy-Vee has us covered this Valentine's Day. No matter how you celebrate, Hy-Vee has everything we need to make Valentine's Day special. I love it because it's a one-stop shop for everything. Flower arrangements. They've got beautiful floral arrangements for everybody. You can pick them up or have them delivered. Hy-Vee also has home-cooked meal options where they'll do everything, and then you will look like the superstar in the kitchen. And so many great gift ideas as well, including chocolate and retail gift cards. Just one stop to make this the sweetest Valentine's Day ever, only at Hy-Vee.
It's Thirsty Thursday at Hy-Vee. Time to stock up the bar and fill up your tank. Earn 50 cents per gallon fuel savings on every $50 purchase of wine, beer, hard seltzer, and spirits. Mix and match all your favorite libations and get a 50-cent fuel saver with every $50 purchase. Stack up the savings and your next fill-up could be free. Don't miss Thirsty Thursday at your Kansas City, Missouri Hy-Vee. Product promotion differs by location. Offers valid where legal, available while supplies last.
Post Malone presents the Big Ass Stadium Tour. Returns for Part 2 with special guests Jelly Roll and Carter Faith. 9-time Diamond Certified Phenomenon, Post Malone. Live at Kauffman Stadium, July 15th. Get tickets now at postmalone.com. The Big Ass Stadium Tour Part 2. This time, it's even bigger.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure what the best option is? Selling a home, especially when dealing with foreclosure, divorce, job relocation, or an inherited property, can feel overwhelming. That's why I don't just make offers. I help homeowners understand all their options so they can make the right choice with no pressure and no obligation. I'm Rex, a local homebuyer and resident right here in Kansas City. Whether you're looking for a fast cash sale or just want to explore your choices, I'll walk you through the pros and cons of selling to me or listing with an agent. If selling directly is your best move, I'll offer you a fair cash price and a closing timeline that fits your needs in as little as 7 days or on your schedule. No repairs, no commissions, no hidden fees. Just a transparent, hassle-free process so you know exactly what to expect. Let's talk. Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com for a free, no-pressure consultation. Rex Buys KC, helping homeowners make informed decisions with confidence.
Football season is over, but there's still plenty to bet at Circa Sports. From pro and college basketball, hockey, and everything in between, Circa Sports has it all. Circa Sports isn't just sports betting, it's sports betting the way it should be. High betting limits, player-friendly pricing, and exceptional customer service. Whether you're looking for futures on March hoops, props on your favorite players, and more, Circa Sports has you covered. Download the Circa Sports app or visit circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to A to Z Savings, our biggest sale of the year.
Happy to be here. Can I get some rotors?
Would you like brake pads with that?
How much are the brake pads?
Free with Duralast rotors.
Free. Really?
Really? Free.
I also need some oil.
Would you like an oil filter with that?
Yeah. How much is that?
Free with the oil.
Free. Really?
Really. Free. It's part of A to Z Savings with hundreds of deals.
From A to free.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Ends March 9th. Restrictions apply.
Let's go.
You're still grooving, still connecting, still loving, still turning up, still thriving. You still got it, but your immune system, it weakens as you age. That's where vaccines come in. They help train and strengthen your immune response to fight off respiratory illnesses like flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, or COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Book in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
You like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. Not, but wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Hey, Royals fans, it's Vern, and the Hot Stove Show is back Thursday night starting at 6 o'clock right here on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
1 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. We were just talking during the break. I'm sure everybody's been following that. We were just saying how bizarre this Savannah, or not Nancy Guthrie.
Savannah Guthrie's
mom,
right?
Yeah, Nancy Guthrie.
Dude, I was just watching the Ring video footage.
Yeah, they finally released, they got some access to photos from the Ring camera and video that they weren't able to get. They worked with their partners, Ring or whoever, right, to private companies, they said, to get access to it and find images they previously were not able to get. I don't know why, but after a week, they were able to get those images. So hopefully that leads to a break. It's so bizarre, very sad, obviously, but also just, it's right out of a movie. It's this kidnapping thing is straight out of a movie. $6 million Bitcoin ransom as well. I don't know. There's so much speculation on what might have happened, but it's terrifying imagining your mother being kidnapped in the middle of the night at 84 years old. So.
I mean, it just, like, we know the famous ones, right? Like the Lindbergh baby and some of this other stuff. Or Patty Hearst. Did you ever follow that one from the 70s?
I did not.
That's when she was like they had her like doing videos and stuff, Patty Hearst. She was like, I don't know, she'd become part of the crew because they brainwashed her and all this other stuff. It's a crazy story. You should absolutely watch that one. But it does feel very bizarre that they're still trying to figure out
Unfortunately, we don't know. Is she alive still?
Because like her family went on there and said, "We'll pay you, but prove to us that she's alive." Now they probably understand as the kidnappers that comes at great personal risk to do that. So we'll see. Didn't it reportedly that you said they're asking for Bitcoin?
$6 million.
$6 million in Bitcoin. That's a very specific number.
Yeah,
it feels like a.
One of the network shows had an expert on in this kind of stuff, and they were saying 6 million is a very predictable amount, I guess, because it's just people think 5 to 10. Somehow, I guess he was saying 6 million is actually a very common number that people suggest. I'm just telling you what
because
they
don't feel like they should ask for 5 or 10, so they just think 6 somewhere
they said
in between.
No, because inexperienced someone just Googling and trying to figure out like what's a good it's stupid stuff, but like that's what they're saying.
Googling what's a good amount to ask for a ransom.
I'm just telling you what this guy said on it was on World News Tonight or whatever the other night.
Okay.
They had some expert in like ransom payments or something.
I'm sorry, just
how often does that happen? I would love to know, how do you make a career out of that?
Yeah, how the hell are you an expert in ransom payments?
I don't know.
Also,
negotiations, I don't know.
I just feel like you're just kind of messed up as a person. This is your personal expertise.
I know.
Oh, sir, what are you an expert in? Oh, no big deal. I'm an expert in ransom. You're like, okay. I guess for a police force or something. How often are people
kidnapped?
Asking
all
for
the
ransom?
time, unfortunately. Well, ransom? I don't know. Yeah, with ransom, I'm not sure.
Other like the digital ransom, right? Where people say, pay me or I'll leak your nudes. Like, not that kind. I meant like ransom of like an actual person.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure. I have people bringing up the movie Ransom in the 90s. Yeah, that was a very good movie.
Haven't seen that in a very long time.
Yeah.
I also saw, and I don't know how I missed this, Justin Verlander's back with the Tigers?
It just happened like 20 minutes ago.
So Tarek Skubal obviously signed his $32 million deal after he got through all of the arbitration hearing. They had signed Framber Valdez the day before in what seemed like this, and now him. But like Tarek Skubal's tweeting out gifs of Verlander like he's excited. But all these moves to me indicate maybe they would move him.
Or it's one last hurrah, one final year of Skubal. They're going for it. They're making aggressive moves, the aggressive moves that people in Kansas City were hoping the Royals would make. Not those players. I just mean in general being aggressive. And I wonder if that's the thought. If they don't trade him, it clearly means they're just loading up the rotation. They're just going for it.
And they're going to say, we can't pay Tarek Skubal anymore. So after this year, when he's no longer a Tiger, we're going to damn sure give ourselves a chance to win a World Series. Do you think? I mean, it's one of two. They're either gearing up all of this is to trade him, or what you said, they're trying to take one big, huge bite at the apple, and they're going to put every damn resource they got into trying to win something this season. Problem is, if that's their rotation, that's one of the 3 best in baseball. It's not as good as the Dodgers. Nobody's good as the Dodgers, but it's as good as anybody else's.
Yeah. What? No, it is. It's one of the top. I think it's top 2, top 3 in the American League for sure. Not even a question. Verlander, I know he's older, but he's still effective. And yeah, it does feel like this is kind of his last hurrah retirement tour in Detroit.
We'll see. A lot of stuff out there. And I also saw that Francisco Lindor has a broken hamate bone and might get surgery. So who the hell knows? Baseball, pitchers and catchers today.
Naturally, we're getting spring training injuries.
Guy Josh Vernier,
Spring training injuries, the most random one.
I think part of it is like they probably had him and they're just now admitting it. Because that same press conference, they said that Juan Soto's going to left field, right? So those kinds of things happen. How many years until we think we get Bobby Wood Jr. at third? That will happen eventually.
I don't think
it's usually after he's 30. You think he'll be somewhere else?
People don't want me to say. In a Royals uniform, he'll be a shortstop.
How dare you? That means you think he doesn't finish as a Royal.
Well, no matter what happens, he's going to opt out, and then the question will be is if they're going to pay him. Like, no matter what, like everything could be great. The Royals go win a World Series 2 years in a row. No matter what, he will still opt out whenever he can opt out because financially that's the right decision. The question will be at that point in time, and we're still a couple years away, will be if the Royals meet his number. So we don't need to worry about that and stress about it now. But like the opt out part of like is going to happen. I will bet you whatever you want. He will opt out whenever he can opt out.
I don't want to take that bet.
It doesn't mean he won't come back to Kansas City.
Yeah.
But he's going to opt out. It's a smart financial move for him.
He's already underpaid.
Yes.
Like pretty significantly, I might add. But I mean, it's not the Royals' problem right now. He was also under contract. So they never even given him this contract.
Fair.
Technically, they're overpaying him based on what they could have just held him hostage for if they really wanted
bad
to.
Example. Bad phrasing.
After what we just said?
Bad phrasing.
You know what? Actually.
Bad phrasing.
All right, that's my bad. I didn't think about how we were just talking about a hostage situation. How much do you think I'm worth if I get held hostage? What could they ask?
Well,
what's a reasonable number? I don't have any like super.
They know your family. Unlike Guthrie, they know she might have access to $6 million.
They know my family.
So it's not $6 million.
No, God, no.
I don't know. This is a terrible conversation.
The best answer is you can't put a price on anybody's life.
Here we go. Here we go.
There is no price.
Wait, Drew, can I ask you something?
Huh?
I have no problem with the comment you just said. Were you saying, I need to know because it made me laugh. Were you saying it from a place of being serious, or were you just like trying to make a joke on the show?
No, I think he was serious.
No, I was being serious, but also I think it's true, but also
It's such a jokey conversation. You're like, you can't put a price on any life, and I was so thrown off for a minute. I was like, wait, I was actually talking about whether or not I was worth $50K. You know. Text line says 20 for me, maybe.
We got to move on. We should not be joking about this. We should not be joking about this.
All
right. Let's talk let's talk about expansion in the NBA for a second. I know we don't talk a ton of NBA, but this is interesting because Adam Silver said the Board of Governors likely to vote this summer on expanding the NBA by 2 teams.
Yeah.
And naturally, in the past, this is where people in Kansas City would get excited and all that. But I think I've been viewing it this way for a couple years. Number one, I have no interest in talking anything about expansion or new professional sports franchises in Kansas City till we get clarity on where the hell the Royals, in this case, you say the Chiefs as well.
Oh, interesting.
Where the Royals are playing.
Well, Chiefs, we know where they're playing now. I think
until we get clarity, until Casey Moe, let's say in this example, can figure out a deal of how to keep the Royals in Casey Moe, if that's where they want to go, we should not even be discussing expansion in Kansas City. It's a waste of time. Number two, we know in the NBA, they're going to Vegas and Seattle first. Then you can figure out what happens after that. So if they're only expanding by 2 teams, it's Vegas and Seattle, pretty obviously. Vegas, the rumor is like Shaq and LeBron want to be part owners of that franchise. That's what they're pretty much, it's almost like, most people think that's what's going to happen.
And that's not surprising. Those are like, look, once one team, the Raiders, broke the seal, or was it the Golden Knights? Whoever broke the seal on, it was the Golden Knights. You can put a professional of the 4 majors in Las Vegas. Once that was broken, there was always going to be every single major sport there. There was, baseball, football, basketball, NHL. It was always going to go to that eventually because of the whole entertainment capital of the world thing, the hotel, the accommodations. Just, it's natural. It's a natural fit for professional sports leagues, so I'm not surprised by it in any way. The Seattle part, this just goes back to they still feel like they owe Seattle because
they do.
They do. They do. But we owe you, our bad. You can have the Supersonics back. I will be happy to see those logos back in the NBA.
Yeah, because they retained all that stuff stayed in Seattle. That is cool.
Did. They still own all of that. They don't have to give up the Thunder, who are the best team. They don't have to pay somebody off. They get the Seattle Supersonics and they get to be back. Kansas City. There was a time in my life when I thought we would be alive at some time when an NBA or NHL team would seriously come here. I don't think it's going to happen. When I'm alive, I don't think we're getting either.
I think
I don't know if it has anything
not
to
NBA,
do.
Though.
And I don't know if it has anything to do with the current stadium stuff, although that certainly doesn't help. And you better take care of your teams before you start asking for others, right? So it doesn't work that way. But I just don't feel like in my life it's going to happen. The NHL is moved to different cities. They've gone back to old cities. They've gone back to Montreal. They've expanded. They keep giving Phoenix and Atlanta teams. They don't even support them. And they've gotten teams a couple of times, and Kansas City doesn't get a whiff. So,
yeah, I
don't know, man. I just kind of feel like it's never going to happen.
I don't think NBA ever does. I think we already had our opportunity, unfortunately. Won't get it again. NHL, maybe, but as I said, I think there has to be clarity on the local franchises that already exist here. And as we know, T-Mobile, great venue.
It is a great
very
venue.
Popular. Very busy. Still one of the most active venues in the country that don't have a pro team. So selfishly, this has been a long-standing frustration. I think for some people with AEG, basically, it was when the arena was being built and Pittsburgh Penguins were leveraging and all that. They're making plenty of money off of what they already have.
What's crazy is I like that the arena's still there.
For P&L, of course, getting an NHL team or NBA team would be incredible because then you're getting 80 nights. Where you got teams going on, or not 80 nights, but it could be depending on the league. So, you have that kind of activity.
It'd usually be what?
40 nights, yeah, sorry.
Half of that.
Yeah.
But so 40, but here's the thing. I still like that the arena exists. I love that we have it for the Big 12 tournament. I love that we have it for visiting, like, when the NBA does a preseason game here.
They haven't done one of those in a while.
They haven't. And it is a really good venue for concerts. And so it has become a good venue. The problem is, and I guess this would be the questions AEG would ask themselves is, from a concert venue perspective, and it's not season round, but are you getting ready to lose a bunch of those summer T-Mobile shows to the amphitheater?
To more amphitheater.
Yeah. You getting ready to lose your foothold on some of that? We got all these concerts and they're coming through here? Or are we just going to get more concerts in Kansas City from the artist who used to pass us over?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a great point. I think the question is going to be, does it impact like Azura more than T-Mobile, right? Because you're talking about the outdoor does it hurt Starlight?
Well, then the Chiefs eventually going to rob from that even more 5 years from now.
Indoor-outdoor venue, I wonder if there's a difference. And I don't know who owns what, right? Live Nation, there's only some concerts that go to Live Nation events. There's some that go to AEG. So I don't know what tour is aligned with what, but you're right. I think there's definitely potentially some impact there. I think it would hurt more, like the more an amphitheater looks, which looks amazing, by the way. I think it would hurt more the outdoor venues, right? Like Starlight and Azura than it would hurt T-Mobile, but who knows?
Somebody said, wouldn't they need a bigger arena in KC? No. That's the exact size.
That's why they built it. That's why they built it originally, was to be ready to roll for an NBA or NHL team.
Yeah, no, those are more than
it would be
up
a
to
very
snuff.
nice NBA arena.
Look, I can't even, I've looked this up before, so I don't know the exact number. I'm just telling you right now, as far as NHL and NBA arenas, it would be, in the NHL, it'd be like one of the 6 or 7 newest arenas in all of the NHL. You know how hard it is for the Chiefs and the Royals to get these stadiums built? Do you know how much harder it is for these NHL or NBA teams to convince them to build them a brand new arena? They had to jump through hoops in some of these cities.
Yep.
And so, no, it would be, Andrew, you've been, and I've been to a couple of NBA arenas in fairness, with some renovation, it would be fine. It'd be top half of NHL or NBA in arenas. It'd be fine.
I would say so.
You wouldn't even
There's
have to.
There's been more new NBA ones, and there's been where I think there would be, it would be a little bit lower on the list than NHL for sure. But yeah, I think from the standpoint of the arena itself and just having been to T-Mobile multiple times, having been to multiple NBA arenas, it would be a very solid, nice NBA arena.
And some of these have to share. So like if you just got an NHL team, you could say this is your stadium. You don't have to share it with an NBA team. You don't have to share it with somebody else. This is just your building. When was the T-Mobile Center built?
I think 2007, if I'm not wrong, not mistaken.
Is that right? Let's see. T-Mobile build date. I want to know because then I can tell you in the NBA where it would rank. Kansas City, I guess I should probably.
It was 2007. Yeah,
07.
October
All right,
07.
so it was built in 2007. Here are the arenas that are newer in the NBA. Intuit Dome for the Clippers. Chase Center for the Warriors. Milwaukee Bucks Stadium was built in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Pistons, Kings, Nets, Magic, end of list.
So 7.
That's it. It's newer than the Thunder's building.
Yeah.
So like
now, as you know, as you mentioned, renovation and stuff, like of course Staples Center, which is now crypto.com, they've put in hundreds of millions of dollars since it's opened in renovations. But I get your point.
I'm just saying, like, but that's the point. It's like you could put in that same renovation and you'd have the 8th newest stadium in the NBA and the 6th newest stadium in the NHL.
There's just so many hurdles. Kansas City's got to figure out the teams we have. We don't have an ownership group to bring in an NHL or NBA team yet. I know there's the dream one day when Mahomes retires that he'll bring us a franchise.
Please, Patrick.
We'll see, right? A lot has to happen. There just has to be so much more clarity. I would love it. You and I would. Selfishly, for all three of us, what we do for a living, it would be incredible. Specifically the NBA. It's not going to happen, but that would be the best from a sports talk perspective. It wouldn't even be close if we got an NBA team. NHL.
I mean, there was a brawl in the NBA last night. You think I don't want to talk about that? We got an NBA team.
NHL would be awesome to go to. It wouldn't be as much of a game changer sports talk radio-wise as NBA team, selfishly for our job.
But it'd be fun.
But it'd be fun as hell to go to. I'm going to an NHL game at the end of the month. I'm excited.
The one
up in Montreal.
I saw Bob, because I know this conversation has come out, of course, they were talking about stuff, but there was somebody that wrote an article in Oregon's newspaper about that if Portland loses
the Trailblazers,
ownership, if the ownership changes in Portland, then the Trailblazers could move and relocate. And at that point, you don't have nobody has to buy the team.
In fairness,
the team's already bought. You don't have to worry about the arena.
Well, they're in the process.
Portland is a weird arena. But
they're big. Portland. Someone still does have to buy them though, because they're in the process of being sold to an investment group, right? Like there is somebody that's buying them.
Sure, but from the standpoint,
why would they pick Kansas City?
I'm just saying, in terms of
like
it wouldn't be an expansion; it'd be a relocation,
for sure.
Which I think is, even like the Memphis Grizzlies have been long talked about about moving from Memphis. It's been like a few years now that they've talked about the potential to relocate. The Pelicans, the same sort of thing.
There are some bad NBA cities. New Orleans got a second crack, though. This goes back to my thought that we're never going to get any of them. Some of these cities have gotten second chances before Kansas City even got one.
Yeah, the Portland Trailblazers one is complex. I think there's leverage being used here. So the article, for those that don't know what Drew was referencing, the article, the Carolina Hurricanes, the NHL team, their owner is Tom Dundon. He has agreed to purchase the Portland Trailblazers of the NBA, and lawmakers there are considering whether they're going to fund hundreds of millions of dollars to repair the team's arena. If they don't agree to do that, they're worried he would move the team. That's where we're at. So
a threat, a classic stadium threat.
And also, look, we all love Kansas City. I would love it here, but why would he want to move it to Kansas City? That would be the question.
Give us the Kings
He has no ties to Kansas City. So what's his desire? Now, the desire is he's got an arena ready to roll, but is there another city that he is more interested in? We don't know that. I also think they'll probably eventually figure it out there in Portland.
If Kansas City gets one, I think it would be relocation. It would not be expansion.
Give us the Kings.
Seems like the best path. Yeah, seems like the best path, Drew.
But you got to find a market that's about the same size as Kansas City, so they don't feel like they're moving from a smaller market.
Are they going to give Kansas City a second shot at an NBA team? And I don't before I was alive, frankly, I never got to see the Kansas City Kings. I was not alive. I
don't know when they left town, but I don't think I was alive.
It was in the 80s, I believe, right?
So I might have been alive.
Something like that. But I don't know if we can. I don't think we get another crack at an NBA team. That's why I think NHL is more likely. But
some of the teams that were mentioned outside of Portland,
85,
outside of Seattle and Vegas, like Pittsburgh, San Diego, Mexico City, they've talked about that for a while now. Adam Silver has, and then Kentucky potentially.
I gotta say, the Kansas City Kings
or Lexington-ish.
I see it at Rally House all the time.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying let's give us the Sacramento back so we can still keep the Kings.
Yeah,
Sacramento's got a good fan base out there, though.
As you mentioned, the arena's new.
Not
nice arena. Very nice arena they got out there.
So what are the Golden One Arena, I think?
Yeah, I think that's right. And then what is their thing, Drew? They light the
beam.
Light the beam. That's right.
What the hell?
That's like their thing.
You haven't heard of that? It's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
I don't catch a lot of Kings games. I like the NBA and I watch the NBA. I can tell you right now, I've probably watched 15 NBA teams this year. Not a single one has been the Kings. That's just like an instant turn off. Just no thanks.
Yeah, light the
Someone
beam.
said WNBA. Yeah, it's way more likely WNBA comes here than any of the two we mentioned. For sure. Sure.
They're in a big...
They got to figure out where this league is headed, though.
Yep.
They may not have some games coming up.
Some bad leadership there for a while.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see where the momentum continues for that league. But we brought it up because the NBA is going to vote, and we all believe that they will be expanding to Las Vegas and Seattle when it's all said and done.
If LeBron wants to own that team, he's got to be done playing.
Right, which...
I mean, he should be.
The team, still a couple years away maybe from starting, so he could play one more year and then own the team right after playing.
What's crazy is only because, so here's the thing about LeBron. I guess we'll just talk a little NBA and then we'll talk some Kansas on the other side of the break. Here's the thing about the way it is with LeBron. It's not that he is not still better than at least a decent chunk of the league. He's not the worst player in the NBA. He is better than a lot of players in the NBA. Mm-hmm. But when you are that great, I don't like watching all-time, top 5 of their sport all-time, historically great players suffer in mediocrity. It is not enjoyable. It's hard
from a team perspective. They're not playing.
No, from a player perspective.
Oh, he's averaging 22 points a game.
Yeah, but
mediocrity.
He's still not LeBron. He is like a regular. He's like I'm a good NBA player. He's not LeBron James anymore. And when you're not that anymore, when you're an all-time great, it's hard. It's just hard to watch, and I don't like watching these players have to suffer through I'm still a pretty good NBA.
See,
they're not close either.
I only watch maybe 2 NBA games a week. I don't want to make it seem like I'm watching every night. 2 NBA games a week. I watched the Thunder game last night on NBC or whatever.
Yeah.
After the KU game, and
you're saying it's not that.
And they were playing the Lakers, by the way. That's why I bring it up.
Yep.
And when I watch LeBron, still I don't watch it man, that guy just doesn't have it anymore.
He's not like Jordan and Charlotte. I don't want to make it seem like
or the Wizards. Yeah,
or Wizards. It's hard when they're not that anymore.
I hear you.
They were.
I think he'll be on a different team next year. I think he'll play one more year. That's my prediction, at least.
Who's he going to play with?
I don't know. Somebody. Go back to Cleveland. Finish it.
Cleveland
where it all started.
Cleveland is the talked about.
I mean, this is, I guess, the drop-off, but he was a 30-point scorer 5 years ago, 28, 27, 24 now, 21 this year, right? It's just
he's nowhere near, though, where, like you said, MJ
rebounds
with the
are down. No. His rebounds are at an all-time low. His assists are at an all-time low. His points per game are at an all-time low. Essentially, since he was, legitimately, maybe even, worse than his rookie year low. But that's the point. I do not think
you don't want to see him playing. You don't want to see.
I don't think LeBron James is a bad basketball player. That's crazy. He's obviously a very, very, very good basketball player. But in basketball, it's kind of hard to watch a guy who was that great just be like a good basketball player. Like, oh, okay, yeah.
Some people are still holding on to LeBron too in a way because of the whole torch being passed, and nobody wants the throne as the face of the NBA and all these other things. So I think
this
some
is
people
23 years in the league.
His lowest points per game since his rookie year.
It is an era. A friend and I were joking last night about how old we're getting because LeBron will be gone, KD and Steph are going to be gone soon. It's like, man, I remember when those guys were just getting out of, like when LeBron was drafted. I had chosen one.
We're the same age.
I had a chosen one LeBron poster when he was first drafted, and Steph at Davidson and all these other things.
I felt the same way with the Pro Football Hall of Fame this past week. The announcement: Drew Brees, Luke Kuechly, Adam Vinatieri. I mean, like Larry Fitzgerald. I mean, these are guys that I watched when I was growing up, junior high and into high school and beyond. Right, like Drew Brees. That's definitely a moment where you start feeling really old.
By the way, it was better for Jordan with the Wizards than I remembered.
What was
22.9 points per game, 20 points per game.
Really?
The same thing LeBron's doing. He took a sizable drop off, but
I think the team.
We might want to dunk on Jordan as a Wizard, but like
from the team
he
standpoint,
scored.
Yeah.
He still got rebounds. He still got assists.
He was the only player on that team, but I hear you. Yeah.
I think that's part of that's more of what it is, Cody. I think for you is
don't like watching
they're either not making the playoffs or they're getting eliminated very early on in the first round. Where we're used to seeing LeBron make it to at least the conference finals or the NBA finals so often that not seeing him there makes it feel like he's fallen off. Which in a way he has. I think to your point, I think you're right. But
it's just hard to watch all-time greats. Not
be at that level. That top tier level.
Especially, I think
specifically, definitely a star.
This is my stance for like the NBA. I don't feel this way as much for like NFL or some of these other things because I'm more like, I understand the NBA is a team game too, but it's like 5 guys on the court. It just feels like your age shows different.
Yeah, for sure. And the fact that it's Luka's team now, like they made that point from the jump. As soon as they brought in Luka, like, hey, LeBron, you are number 2 to Luka's.
What's up with him? He wasn't playing last night. What's he dealing with?
I don't know. Rest.
Thought I didn't see him play.
He's dealing with something. I don't know if it's a calf strain or if something like that, oblique issue. He's been in and out. Austin Reeves is back though, and they
did see that. I did see that.
Almost won last night, or maybe they did win. I think they did win actually.
Hamstring
last
issue,
night.
Cold. If you're
curious. It was on NBC Peacock last night.
Mm-hmm.
He initially suffered the injury last Thursday against the
Lakers. Lost last night, 119-110.
That's right. It was.
Got outscored by 7 in the fourth. All right, up next, we'll get to what's trending, and then let's talk more about what we saw in the Super Bowl from the defense and what it tells us about the shift, perhaps, in the NFL.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
When shopping for a new auto insurance policy, AAA could help you customize your coverage to fit your unique needs and budget. Trust AAA Auto Insurance to help you find the balance that works for you. See how a simple switch could make a big difference. AAA, we're always with you. Visit AAA.com/insurance. Insurance provided to qualified AAA members by Automobile Club Inter-Insurance Exchange and AAA affiliate insurers. Membership requires a separate payment.
I wish I'd gotten treated for my erectile dysfunction sooner. Men, I hear this all the time from our patients. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if ED is a problem in your life, resolve to get it treated today and stop having it affect you and the one you love. ED is simply a medical condition, and it's fully treatable. And at Heartland Men's Health, we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. Which means if you're like most guys, your ED will be a thing of the past. In fact, you could be having great sex within a day or two of your first appointment, and you'll likely find you're performing like you haven't in a long time. It's the new year. Resolve to get your ED treated and change your life. Call us at Heartland Men's Health. Your initial visit is only $99. It includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices, Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Steve here with Connolly Plumbing Solutions, your neighborhood plumber. February romance once again. Buy one toilet, get one half off. Who needs more jewelry? Nothing is more romantic than a beautiful toilet. Be original with your gift. What could go wrong? You know it's what your person really wants. So call Connolly at 913-768-7676 or visit ConnollyPlumbingSolutions.com to schedule.
That's another amazing run by Team USA.
Mom, think I'll be on Team USA one day?
Well, I'll take this one.
What? Are you speaking to us?
Yes, and to answer your question, anything's possible, especially with Xfinity.
So, I can be the best snowboarder ever?
Well, I can't guarantee that, but Xfinity can guarantee that your internet price won't change for 5 years.
Okay. What if I practice every day?
Then maybe you'll be snowboarding for Team USA at the next Olympic Winter Games. And Mom, you'll still be paying the same price for Wi-Fi.
Ooh, really stuck the landing there. It's the Xfinity Gold Medal Celebration. Now through February 22nd, get our best price on gig Wi-Fi for 5 years guaranteed, just $50 a month. Plus, get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. That's a $10.99 value per month. Xfinity. Imagine that. Proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Actual speeds vary.
Okay, I have to tell you. I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
What's up, everybody? I'm Nick Costos, and watching sports isn't a hobby, it's a lifestyle. And my show is not a job, it's a passion. From the NFL playoffs to the NBA and everything in between, celebrate sports with me every day on You Better You Bet from 9 a.m. to noon Eastern. Download the Odyssey app now and listen to Westwood One Sports from anywhere. It's You Better You Bet with me, Nick Costos, live and interactive Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern, presented by BetMGM.
Spreadsheets, clunky software, 100 different logins just to run your business? Ah.
There's a better way. Odoo. One simple, connected platform that handles sales, inventory, accounting, and more, so you can focus on growing, not juggling. Make the switch today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. Visit AnthonyPHC.com today.
Keep your home warm and your furnace running strong with expert HVAC care from Anthony. Celebrate our 75th anniversary. Get $75 off a furnace tune-up. Book now at AnthonyPHCE.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
What's trending?
Cheddar, mozzarella, Havarti.
Number one on What's Trending, we've been talking about throughout the show today. Kansas took down number one Arizona last night at Allen Fieldhouse. We had Brian Haney, the voice of the Jayhawks, on the show, talking about it being one of the more electric atmospheres in that building's history. It's the first time that Kansas has beat a number one team of the country at Allen Fieldhouse. It was 82-78. KU now 19-5. Arizona dropped their first game of the year. Flory Vadunga had a double-double. Melvin Council in 40 minutes. Not a great shooting night, but ended up with 23. Darryn Peterson did not play. He was a late scratch due to flu-like symptoms.
Next up on What's Trending, Justin Verlander is back being a Detroit Tiger, signing with the Tigers on a one-year, $13 million deal. They obviously just signed Framber Valdez and lost their arbitration hearing, paying Terry Skubal $32 million a year. So they're forming a nice little rotation there in Detroit. If they all make it, that's really the question still remaining is this a precursor to moving Tarek Skubal, or is this just their way of saying, well, we got Tarek Skubal, we're going to try to make the most of it? Because I think everybody kind of universally agrees in Major League Baseball, they're never going to pay Skubal the $700 million he's going to get on the open market.
Don't think so. I'd be shocked if that was actually the case. Elsewhere, the Raiders made it official yesterday. Clint Kubiak, the next head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. He was the OC for Seattle, so 24 hours after winning the Super Bowl. Right? I believe the press couch. Yeah, the video they put out of him flying in last night on the private jet with his family and everything, but I think that's correct. But he's the head coach now of the Las Vegas Raiders. So the division has Harbaugh, Clint Kubiak, Sean Payton, and Andy Reid.
Next up on What's Trending, the loser in the Super Bowl matchup has admitted to at least 2 injuries. They're saying Drake May has a shoulder injury that's bothering him for some time, but will not require offseason surgery. Will Campbell's knee, however, their starting left tackle most likely will. Mike Vrabel saying in a press conference today that they are committed to keeping him at left tackle. I mean,
we'll see. We'll see. They say that now. You know how that is. We'll see.
I got to say, as somebody who watched Kingsley really struggle, Andy pulled the ripcord on that thing before they even got halfway through the damn season. Can't play left tackle. You can't play left tackle. Like, I understand Will Campbell was taken quite a bit higher than even Kingsley Suamataia, but there might be another position for you to play where you can still be successful. Kingsley is a successful guard, even if he wasn't a successful left tackle. It's so much easier to accept Kingsley as a guard because he was taken in the later part of the second round. That's a perfectly normal guard spot.
We'll find out how serious the Drake May injury is as the offseason continues. See if he's limited at all.
We'll see.
Olympics underway out in Milan, Norway, with 11 medals overall, tied with Italy. Other notable countries, United States up to 7 total medals. They've gained 2 since we last talked about this, I guess.
Unfortunately, spoiler alert, part of the reason they got a new medal is they got a silver because they lost in the mixed doubles curling.
So their medals right now, they have a gold in alpine skiing, a gold in figure skating, a silver in cross-country skiing, a silver in curling, and a bronze in alpine skiing. That gets you to 7 total medals.
You going to watch more Olympics now? Football's done.
Yeah,
Baseball
this
hasn't
week,
started.
I think so. I'll be honest, I'm struggling to get into it right now. We'll see. We're only 4 days into the Olympics.
Do you like the Summer Olympics better?
No, I typically actually like the Winter Olympics. Once we get to the group finals of a hockey, I'll get into it. And I like watching track and field during the summer, but I don't know. And swimming is awesome. But some of the winter, I do think some of the downhill skiing is a ton of fun to watch. My issue in this, I don't know if this is just the Olympics and popularity compared to what it was 20 years ago. And I know, we know the name Lindsey Vonn, and there's some other somewhat household names. I don't feel like there's as many on the winter side right now, presently. And look, there'll be someone that can make a name for themselves. But we all know way back in the Summer Olympics, 15 years ago, you had Michael Phelps, or you knew Simone Biles.
It's easy to get into it when,
right now in the Winter Olympics, there's not a name that I feel like, oh my gosh, I have to watch them do something special. And I'm not saying there isn't somebody doing that. Does anybody, someone can help me out even. I'm trying to think of the name that oh my gosh, you have to watch. You have to watch that athlete right now. And that's my issue why I can't get into it currently. That person might exist. I don't know the household name.
I would say the biggest names, I guess, that are popping up regularly for me are the quad god, the figure skater, right? Is he?
Who's that?
I can't.
Let's see. That's my
Malinin. Well, they call him quad god. I don't remember. That's a pretty good memory for the way. So he's a figure skater. He does quad jumps all the time. I think he's American, so he's at least one. Other than that, I don't know. I don't know really. Oh, Amber Glenn, the women's figure skater. So there's a couple, but that might be it. Off the top of my head, that might be it.
When we get to medal round of hockey, I'll be really into that. But
when you start getting into the big matches.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little Chiefs offseason. Obviously, Seattle was the winner of the Super Bowl just a couple of days ago. You and I both know that a huge reason why they won the Super Bowl is because they had a great defense. And the Texans had a great defense. And the Patriots defense played great come postseason time. Hell, maybe the entire theme of the entire AFC playoff field was, look at how good these defenses are. So I think the initial instinct in that case is, well, then the Chiefs better shape up. They were the 5th ranked points per game defense last year. And in a lot of ways, because of how long I feel like defenses have been reigning. As in, essentially since they figured out how to slow down the Chiefs enough with the 2 high safety look. Didn't stop the Chiefs from winning a Super Bowl, but have slowed them down during that time over the last 4 years. I think we're probably getting ready to hit the end of the cycle, and everyone's going to figure it out, and you should worry about offense. So if you make me build the perfect offseason plan, not just pick 9, but everything they need to focus on in the next 2 years, I want them focusing on being a great offense again. Surrounding Patrick Mahomes with so much damn talent that it's undeniable how good they are on offense. Andy Reid getting to the drawing board so much that he figures out how to crack the code on what these defenses have been doing for all these years. How to break through teams like Seattle, Houston, and how to disrupt what they do great defensively and figure out how to be on the other side of the shift rather than trying to adopt to the model that I think is probably going to be dead in 2 years.
Yeah, I hear you. I think, look, on offense, they were worse than the defense last year. We know that. And as we discussed earlier, this wasn't like a bottom 5 offense. It was an average offense, actually above average, technically, offense. It was also a defense that in points per game, we're top 10 defense. But I think while we can acknowledge they got to get more explosive in the backfield, that they could use another wide receiver, on the defensive side, I still think about getting after the quarterback. And to me, when you watch these defenses, maybe they don't have to, Cody, be like elite top 2 defense in football. They have to have
good defense.
They have to have somebody though that can win consistently.
You want one guy in the line,
and that used to be Chris Jones, and it's just not anymore, guys. It's just not.
But is it as simple as that? I guess. But that your point to that isn't it as simple as one more pass rusher and this defense is fixed? Like, are there a bunch of other things to undo? Isn't it just one more decent pass rusher and we're all like, we can call it good?
Yeah, assuming that assuming that you believe Noah Williams is ready to play more, and so do I. And Christian Fulton this year will probably play more.
Safety, I guess.
Jalen Watson, you probably are letting him walk unless you trade Trent McDuffie. Otherwise, you're letting Watson walk. I think they can, they're not going to develop another, all-pro type corner in Trent McDuffie, but they can develop another Jalen Watson. And maybe that's Noah Williams, for example. I'm not saying they're the same type of corner, but you get the point. Just their ability to develop what we would call like the second tier type of corner. And yeah, if Chris Jones, who maybe is not on the team in 2 years, you have him for 1 or 2 more years. Karlaftis, to me, his play elevates if all of a sudden you have somebody else that is able to win fairly consistently, whether that is somebody in the draft or they make a trade that none of us see coming to go and trade for a pass rusher. Because I don't think in free agency, other than a flyer on a 1-year deal type of guy, there's nobody that you're going to probably feel great about them bringing in free agency to where you think they solved it. Look, there will sign free agent defensive linemen. There will be 1 or 2 defensive tackles that they sign.
And they'll be banking on Omar Norman-Lott and Ashton Gelati just getting better in year 2. And I'm not, I know I've been probably the most down on this entire show from the beginning on Felix Anudike-Uzomah. As a rotational defensive lineman, healthy, Gold, I think he could also just contribute some, right? He could be a 3-sack guy. He could be a 3.5-sack guy, 4-sack guy. I wouldn't take it any higher than that, but 3 to 4? Yeah, that doesn't seem out of the question for Felix. So, I think just based on health alone and experience alone, they're already, because they got nothing out of a Mini Huandana. Between FAU and Omar Norman-Lott and Gelati in year 2, I already think they're slightly better on the defensive line. If they just take a guy at number 9, I don't need him fixing the defense anymore. Drew, you'd asked me when we were talking about this earlier in the show, does that mean I like that mock draft that had him taking wide receiver, running back, tight end, pick? Yes, if that trend just starts in round 2. If at pick 9, they take Ruben Bain, and then they take a wide receiver, a running back, a tight end in the next 3 rounds, hell yeah. I'm all for it at that point.
It's like this is where the defense. This is where we have this perception of things are worse than they are. Like says, you guys want to be Cincinnati because
they had the 5th ranked defense last year.
This is not to get into a Bengals conversation, but
no.
The Chiefs' defense was not bottom 5 in football. The Chiefs' offense was not bottom 5 in football. So saying that. Even with Cody, and I disagree with Cody a little bit. I would like them to put more resources on defense. But even what Cody's saying, which is they're not gonna if they don't spend the 9th overall pick on a defensive end, and I want them to, or a defensive lineman. If they don't, they're not going to be the 25th best defense next year. We're spoiled in Kansas City, and the bar should be very high, right? You're expected to win championships now. That's the culture you have set. You got Patrick Mahomes. I have no issue with it. But acting as if last year's team, which won 6 games, was a bad football season. Acting like they have a bottom 5 offense and a bottom 5 defense. It's just not accurate.
No, Cincinnati's defense last year ranked 30th. The Jets 31st, Dallas 32. Those are nothing they would do would drop them from 5th to 29th, 30th. I agree with the principle of, because you and I talked about this earlier in the show and throughout. I thought it was stupid at the time Cincinnati pay Higgins and Chase because they didn't put any resources into defense because their defense was already bad. The Chiefs' defense is not bad. The Chiefs' defense is the opposite. It's good. It has been good. They ranked 5th this year. They were better than that in 2024. They were the same. 6th instead of 5th. The year before that, they were 2nd. The year before that, they were, that's the lowest they were at any point, 18th in 2022. They have been a good defense. And what I'm saying is I think these defenses, which have kind of run the show, I think, for the last 4 years in the NFL, I think that shift is probably getting ready to change. And we'll go back to the high-flying offenses of the world kind of ruling the day for a little bit, and those being the team that go to the Super Bowl. And so I don't know, just be ahead of the curve a little bit. I'm not saying do nothing on defense. They do some things on defense. They have one of the highest paid linebackers. They have one of the highest paid defensive tackles. They have a first-round pick at George Karlaftis, who they've also paid. The only parts on the defense I think they need legitimate help at right now are the defensive line and safety. That's it. Other than that, I think defensively they can kind of roll into next season and still be around top 10. If they just address those two things in some way, even a small way, then they will be a top 10 defense next year. And so I'm saying for the rest of the draft and free agency to focus on being great at offense again because you have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. I just think that it's better to be ahead of the curve than behind it. And they've been behind it for years, Gold. That's the other part that worries me about running back is the truth. Running backs do matter more in the NFL than they have. But I only think that that's really a 2-year run. So I still think there's some juice left in the running game matters in the NFL. I don't think there's as much longevity of defenses are going to run the NFL. It's all about, to me, how long you think the cycle's getting ready to last. Like, how much longer do you think defenses are going to run? How much longer do you think running backs are going to matter the way they're mattering right now?
Yeah. Someone asking, why do you guys only cover Chiefs football and not the Olympics? Well, one occurs every 4 years, and one is 365 days out of the year, and the Chiefs have won 3 rings since 2019.
I also
so
just, I don't want to lie to you and pretend like I know about every Olympian.
Yeah, I mean, we watch the Olympics, but the Olympics is not a great sports talk conversation. It's once every 4 years. It just is.
I mean, I like watching them.
If there was a Michael Phelps type run going on right now, we would talk about it more. There's not. And that doesn't mean that there aren't great athletes. That's not the point.
Yeah. I mean, there's
That's
lots
all.
of them.
Yeah.
But again, like you said, unless they're going to go through like one of those kind of levels, it's kind of hard to know everything about
There's not a, I can tell you this, there's not a sports talk show in the country that is spending more than 10% of their show talking Olympics.
10% seems high.
I'm just trying to be nice.
Yeah,
Trying to be nice. I'm trying to be nice. Trying to be nice. But yeah.
Let's get to hockey and then maybe we'll talk about it a little bit. Seeing how we just said we wanted an NHL team here. I'm now looking at the list of that somebody put together of Olympians to watch, American Olympians to watch this one.
Why not at least announce the gold medals?
Well,
I mean,
this is tough because someone the other day told me that I was going to spoil everything if I announced it.
Yeah.
Make you happy, make everyone else sad.
Let's here we go.
Let's take it a vote.
How about Drew creates a gold medal sounder, and then Drew can anytime there's a new gold medal, he can.
I would just like it to be from Austin Powers and him just saying, "I love gold." I just want it to be that, if that's okay, Drew. I'd like that to be the sound.
We also did talk Olympics a lot with the Lindsey Vonn stuff.
Yeah, I still think she shouldn't have.
Frankly, again, this is what I mean by there's a difference between sports talk radio and just reading it in the newspaper kind of stuff. Frankly, the Lindsey Vonn story, way more intriguing to talk about on the radio than just who won a bronze medal in a random event. That's just you
As
can
a biathlete.
That's just look. By the way, we're going to have a former Olympian on the show Friday in studio during Fan Club Fridays. So this is not I'm not anti-Olympics by any means, but our job is to entertain and entertain to the masses. And the majority of people would rather us talk about how the Chiefs get back to being champions than what just happened in a bronze medal match or a bronze match of the luge or just a run of the luge. Sorry.
Next year, we did curling this year. Social media content available on our YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, maybe Instagram pages, don't remember. But either way, you can catch the videos curling. When the Summer Olympic comes around, which event you want to do? Hurdles? What do you think?
Not hurdles.
Let's get it. And I think luge should be the next time it's a Winter Olympics.
Yeah. Yeah, and if we find out more,
so not hurdles.
No, and if we find out more athletes are injecting their penis with acid, we'll talk about it. I promise.
That's true. We did talk about that.
Yeah.
Here are the available ones for the next upcoming Summer Olympics that we could consider. Everyone's watched us play basketball, so not that. I think it's got to be a sport that we wouldn't normally play. So not cycling or soccer or volleyball. Water polo? We get those little helmets on, Gold? What do you think? Water polo? That could be a fun one.
The
do you get to, in water polo, do I have to swim the whole time or do can my feet touch the ground? Drew, do you know the rule on that?
What, in water polo, you're out there treading water the whole time.
The whole time?
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to sink, dude.
Yeah,
it's a hell of a swimmer. You have to be in amazing shape for that.
Okay, how about trampoline? That's
no, that seems like about to break.
actually.
You're going to tear an ACL
So
or
not that
something.
one.
Yeah, we'll
BMX
figure that.
racing. Can we go over the
We got
hills?
4 years. We'll figure it out.
I know, but I'm trying to figure it out now so we can work ahead.
You want to run
You
a
and I
mile?
can wrestle.
A 5K?
We can
Soccer.
do Greco-Roman.
We already do soccer.
We
Soccer.
can do Greco-Roman wrestling. No, I want it to be a sport we've never done before, like curling.
Yeah.
Equestrian, dressage.
Sorry, I shouldn't give this text so much attention.
you're
I
fencing?
apologize. This person's.
Ooh, fencing. Yeah. We're talking.
This is just like.
Is this the same person responding?
Yes, and I shouldn't keep. I appreciate you. Look, you got my attention. Congratulations. You don't get to pick and choose what sports you guys think is going to be exciting to talk about. Well, that's actually, not to sound arrogant, that's exactly what we do. Actually, we think what people are going to care and think is interesting. That actually kind of is how this works. We talk about what the majority of people. Not again. You can. Nobody's telling you can't be excited for it. But just like same reason why we don't talk WNBA all the time. Because the majority of our audience doesn't care. Doesn't mean people don't care. Majority doesn't. We talked more women's basketball last year. Why? Because Caitlin Clark became a story that everybody was talking about. If there's a story tonight in the Olympics that becomes such a popular thing or controversy, I can promise you we'll talk about it. That's just how the job works. I don't know how else to explain it to you.
Are you going to watch the quad guy now that I talked about him?
Why don't we talk Division III college football? Because a small fraction of people care.
You taking a shot at like...
Sorry.
I mean, in fairness, we almost never talk any Ruse Hoop on the show, and we started
because majority of people don't care.
Yes.
Well, and all of a sudden, they cared about the UMKC basketball hire because Mark Turgeon's a name that people recognize. Anyway, I shouldn't have to keep explaining. I'm sorry. Anyway.
You want to explain programming to this person?
Wow. It's just, it's one of I shouldn't care, but it's one of those things like, I don't know what this person does for a living. Let's say they work in construction. I imagine if...
a neurosurgeon.
Imagine if somebody was like, you know what? I know way more about exactly what you're doing, and you shouldn't do that. I'm going to tell you exactly how to do your job.
You sure you should put a load-bearing wall there? That doesn't seem like a wise decision.
Yeah.
You might be cutting off light to the kitchen.
Anyway, too much attention to that individual. I apologize.
It's okay. Sometimes, we all get frustrated. Back to the, I don't want to talk any more Olympics. That's for sure. We got our Olympics fill. At least we need. I do want to do just a couple more minutes on before we get out of here on the Kansas game last night, specifically from the Bill Self end, because we talked about the Peterson thing and we understand the frustration over Kansas fans and I get where they're at. We talked about just the win for Kansas. We understand it makes him a national title contender. I was one of the people that thought Bill Self had lost some juice. That maybe between the health scare stuff or the fact that I thought his better teams are the ones that he had to slowly build over time at Kansas, whatever it was. Maybe the modern game wasn't a perfect fit for him. Not that he was a bad coach, but maybe the modern game wasn't a perfect fit for him. That game has me rethinking at least a little. That was the best coaching job he's put on paper in years.
It was a hell of a job.
He was out there just doing work. He lost his best player an hour before tip-off and still beat the number one team in the country. And I understand simply playing at Allen Fieldhouse has an effect on that.
Yeah.
But from the Bills' self-end alone, that might have been the most narrative-changing thing that came out of that game for me. Because I wasn't far off on national title contending Kansas. I wasn't that far off on being annoyed for Darryn Peterson for missing time in games in which I think he could play. Or that Badunga and Flory and Tiller and some of these other guys would really step up to make this a really balanced, and Council have made this a really balanced Kansas basketball team that doesn't need to be deep because they are star-studded at the top. Self was the one that I was still questioning as a part of this, even though as great as he is. But last night's game just felt like that he put something on paper last night. He still got it.
He coached his ass off. He really did. And, to see where guys have come along throughout the year, you brought up Tiller and Flory, to see their progression, coaching, right? The entire coaching staff gets credit for that. Melvin Council Jr. just is a really special individual. You can see the energy that he brings. He's a fan favorite and all of that. Last night, I don't know what the odds are for Coach of the Year and stuff like that. That's the type of win, and winning without Darryn Peterson as well. That's